And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the LiuLi Cup Weekly, weekly number 5. I'm of course your site VIP with you, enjoyed by these amazing players, by the P1 chats, and by the plushies as well. Welcome one and welcome one and all to a quote-unquote new weekly tournament. It's been running for a month at this point, with a monthly finals, which we just wrapped up with last week. But now we're here with a brand new month, with a brand new set of weeklies. Here we go. Meanwhile, a bit. Oh my god. Welcome one and all, and also a shout out to an anonymous donation. Let's cast some StarCraft. Yes, let's cast all the StarCraft of 2,000 USD. God, wasn't sure it was gonna be done in such a way, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. There are plans, by the way, to make use of that donation, and we will be getting, I'll give you a teaser, but that money is going to be put to use when it comes to tournaments. We do plan on running some tournaments with that. So thank you so much for the anonymous donation. We appreciate the support as always, Papi guy. 2,000. You're crazy, Papi. You're crazy. Calm down. Look after yourself, Papi. Look after yourself. Thank you so much. We don't often get donations on the channel. It doesn't often happen. We don't have like a donation bar or a donation goal or anything like that. We have like Patreon goals and we have like subscription goals, but we don't really often get donations. But you know, hopefully we can change that soon. TM, we'll get some bars going and all that good stuff. But thank you so much for all the support. We appreciate it. And for those that are tuning in, for those that are curious, yes, we do have plans to put all of that into some tournaments. Soon to be announced. We're going to be ironing out some of the finer details as to that. But don't you worry. Big announcement soon. You're crazy, Papi. You're crazy. Master. Oh, your duck is so big, Papi. Yeah. Huge duck. As here we go. As we get into our first series, a little just sidetracked, but in the top left-hand corner. In the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the red Terran player. I say Terran, random player. He's a player rolling random, landing on Terran. For Weibo Gaming, it is Shin. Massive guy, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have another random player landing on Protoss, our pink player. It is Ragnar. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. That's hands down the biggest donation we've ever received. 100% biggest donation, Papi. You're crazy, Papi. You're crazy. But yes, we'll be making use of that in the form of tournaments. Don't you worry. Soon, TM. I say soon, TM. Yeah, we'll get into. We'll refine some details. We'll get there. Probably this weekend. We will most likely have an announcement regarding that. But for the time being, welcome and all to LiuLi Cup. Again, LiuLi Cup is a relatively new weekly tournament that is organized and run by LiuLi. LiuLi is one of the big Chinese casters, not a part of SC Boy, is off on his own, but has started to run these weekly regular tournaments open to all. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, the bracket is looking insane. We'll be getting into the bracket soon, and there's a big reason as to why we dove on this series first. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. I thought it was going to be sent on ramen. Oh no, oh the ramen. But true, that's how I sustain myself, Papi. True. As we're proxying, by the way, Ragnar does open up with a proxy robo across the map. Interesting setup here. One base all in out of Ragnar. We have 3 gates back at home, 1 gateway across the map, a robo alongside this, and we're going to try to bring this all together. Now thankfully for Ragnar, Shin has not scouted. 0 SCV scout out of Shin, so he has no idea as to what Ragnar is up to. Shin is playing blind, at least currently, and behind this, getting into zone 1-1-1. There's no safety bunker, there's no safety setup. There's a chance here that Ragnar can pop off and catch Shin with his pants down. Catch him out. Also, I have to spam the emotes. Hold on, where is it? There we go. Yes. Crazy, man, crazy. Another. Here we go. We do have our Immortal on the way. So proxy Immortal out of Ragnar. And Shin is still in the dark, by the way. He does move out his Widow Mines, so the Widow Mines that will not be at home to defend. There is a safety bunker, thankfully. I believe there is a Cyclone on patrol. Tank is almost out. Oh, with the arrival of the tank, I mean, this might be taking too long, to be honest. Warp gate is not finishing up. We can't wait for charge. Charge has begun. More gates. Unfortunately, Ragnar, it's going to take too long for this to really get going. We got to go soon. Again, the longer this goes on, the worse it is for Ragnar. Shin, he's boosting into the bases. He confirms no expansion. He confirms the one-base setup. Oh, we got a hallucination scouts. And that's going to be 8 probes. 8 probes going down already. Oh, God. I just seem to be able to react in time. But again, that's half the mineral line going down. And we're waiting for extra warp-ins. I'm concerned that we plan on waiting for charge. If that's the case, Shin is going to be more than ready for this. As he's already got 2 tanks. Nice Sim City, fully walls off. We got Banshees on the way. We already have the 1. Oh, boy. And even the Widow Mines come back home to defend. And looks like we are indeed waiting for charge. Yeah, Ragnar is waiting for charge. He's waiting for the upgrade. As a result, Shin, he's going to have 3 tanks defensively. He can pull the boys if need be. He has plenty of boys to pull. Armory's on the way, getting into meching it up behind this. 2 more factories. I mean, Shin, he can do whatever he wants. Cloak is done. For a moment, I thought it was Banshees. Now he does dive. The boys are trying to be pulled. Bunker does go down. Down goes the bunker, but that's all we're really going to get. So yeah, the tank will survive. And with that, Shin, he will completely shut this down. Stims on forward. Rushes on forward, takes out the sentries, does focus on the Immortal. And with that, we'll lose some SCVs, but more than worth it for Shin. As Shin can chase. Remember, he's got the Banshees. Does have those Banshees. Or Banshee, even. As Shin is getting into battle mech, we have hyperflight raiders. We have magflight accelerators on the way, getting into the Cyclone upgrade. We have Hellions amassing as well, and now we're chasing down the remainder of the army. Right now, he can maybe try to force field and wall himself in. Does catch a couple of tanks. Oh, never mind. Tanks are saved. That's juggling here by Shin. And Shin, he rolls on forward. GG gets called, and Shin, he will take game number 1 in this random versus random matchup. GG. GG, well played. As a reminder, both players did decide to play random coming into this, and I'm hoping that continues to be the trend coming into game number 2 as well. I'm hoping. GG. GG, well played. Why off race? Again, they both decided, they both agreed to play random. They're both playing random. Both off racing. Let's go. Shin and Ragnarok. This is Ragnar. Ragnar, different player, different player. Getting into game 2. Looks like Harsum is going to be joining us. I assumed that Harsum was competing in the tournament, but looks like he is not in the brackets. Okay, we'll be going over the bracket after this series. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't you worry. But yes, for those who are curious, Shin's main race is Zerg, and Ragnar's main race is Zerg as well. So neither one got to play their main race. Do we land on our main race here in game 2? We'll see, we'll see. So jumping in. Yeah, it's all good, it's all good. It's all good. Otherwise, hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Hope you're all having a great time. As this is our second broadcast of the day. We were live earlier this morning with Pegasus Cup. Now we're live this evening with some LiuLi Cup action, and here we go. Oh, we have that's a little bit unfortunate. As spawning in the one hand corner, we have our South Korean random player landing on his main race. Representing Weibo Gaming, WBG, it is Shin. As he rolls random and lands on Zerg. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Protoss player, the random player, landing on Protoss 2 games in a row from land of Australia. It is Ragnar. Here we go. As we're getting into game 2, of course, both players, they did roll random, which means, especially because no one has said anything, they are unaware as to each other's race. So that's going to be another bit of a factor here. But with this probe scouts, we're going to be revealing ourselves. Ragnar will scout and find Shin being Zerg, and Shin will also see the probe, recognize Protoss as well. So now they're aware of each other. Ragnar did go for a one base all in the last game, so we're expecting aggression, we're expecting cheese, and Shin, he goes pool first. He does go pool first here to be safe, to be defensive, to make sure he's ready for any kind of hyper aggressive play. Makes plenty of sense, especially after game 1. So that's going to be pool into a hatchery into delayed gases. Meanwhile, double gate. I meant to say double gate opener here out of Ragnar. So 2 gate openers are typically hyper aggressive. We're going to be delaying the expansion in favor of an extra gateway, in favor of typically adept aggression here. Torp in Zealots, followed by adepts, and we can try to wreak havoc early on. So Ragnar is going to be the initial aggressor. The SimCity is a little bit awkward here, but that's only because Ragnar didn't know that it was a Zerg player. So the setup was on the high ground instead. That's one of the rough things about going up against a random player. Different matchups require different wall-offs. Lings are moving in, and they can depower the Cybercore, which means they can heavily delay Warp Gate. They could even just go into the main. Where are we headed? They're going for the pylon. Yeah, they're going for the pylon. This will heavily delay Warp Gate. Pylon goes down, Lings, they move in. We have Zealots being made manually, of course. We're going for the second pylon. The boys, they have to be pulled. Boys are being pulled, we're trying to hold on. The Lings, they can just fight. Nice control. Very nice. Meanwhile, does go for the probes, gets another 5. That should not have happened. 5 workers go down. Not like this. And already a very strong start for Shin. Behind this, Shin getting to link speed. He does pull out a gas, so we're not going into like a fast lurker dent, right? Fast roach war, we're not going to get into fast lair. We're not taking up into anything too crazy. And despite the 2 gate opener, without early warp gates, this opener really sets Ragnar behind. It means that Ragnar, his natural is delayed for nothing. It was meant to be delayed for adept aggression, but that's just not going to happen. Not anymore. Twilight Council before expansion. This looks like a 1 base all in out of Ragnar. It's going to be a bit of an awkward one. The Overlord goes in for a scout. The Overlord does confirm the Twilight Council. Shin, he sees that there is no base. There's faster tech. Most likely going to be like a charged base all in. Maybe Glaive Adepts, potentially Stalker. Regardless, Shin knows not to overdrone. He knows, hey, you can get a 3rd base for Larva, drone up his natural at most, and focus on army production. I would say that Shin could be droning more. He's instead going for a Bane Bust. Bane and S on the way. Lings are amassing Shin. He's just going for the kill inside. No! He's going to get the surround. Yeah, it does catch out the Zealots. Surrounds 1. Surrounds the other. Surrounds everything. Yeah, GG. GG gets called. With that, everything gets surrounded. And Shin, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Also unfortunate a little bit that Shin was able to land on his main race as well. I mean, it was still a bit of an awkward start for Ragnar. It was a bit of an awkward start just because of the opener, because of the initial 2 gates into the Cybercore, rough SimCity, delayed expansion, like it all kind of fell apart. Shin also did play safe with the early pool and was able to make use of those Zerglings to depower everything and kill 5 probes. It was just a disastrous start for Ragnar, but regardless, GG. GG well played. Shin does claim the series, and with that, we're going to be following Shin into the next round. Let's go. Let us go. Exclamation mark be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us switch our scenes over and catch up on said bracket. Okay, from the top here, let me just quickly move this over. Can I? There we go. From the top, we have Clem. Clem, he's waiting for the winner of Rebellion and Oriana. Honestly, that's going to be a really good matchup. Rebellion and Oriana, I do feel like they are close in skill. Best of luck in that PvT. Scrolling down, Shin takes down Ragnar. herO Marine takes down the world. And we have Shin versus Big Gabe in the next round. This is why we dove on this series. This is why we dove on Shin, to follow Shin into Gabe. Let's go, Papi, let's go. So ZBT is ahead of us. I look forward to it. Scrolling down, we have Classic waiting for the winner of Lemon and Nanu. I believe that is Nanu from PCEC. They're facing off in their matchup, so I believe in a PvP. Scrolling down, we have ByuN now up against Percival in the next round in a Terran versus Terran matchup. We have MaxPax waiting for the winner of Indy and Ledlix. That should be a PvP that is ongoing into another Protoss. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Rogue. He is up against Nightmare in the next round. Nightmare just took down Choi Galaxy 2-0. herO, he's waiting for the winner of Ordinary, and I don't know who that player is, but really cool to see Ordinary once again. Ordinary, of course, that is Chance, if you remember Chance from a year ago. He's an up-and-coming Korean Protoss player, but oh, I do have to quickly make sure I don't get left behind, as Vitas are done. Scrolling down at the bottom, we have Showtime. Showtime, he is, oh, as I should be. There we go. We have Showtime, he's up against the winner of Geralt and Number, as well as Ordinary takes out his opponent 2-0. And again, Showtime's still waiting for his opponents. So again, we have plenty of matchups, plenty of series up ahead of us here. And of course, we are focusing on Gabe versus Shin. Okay, let's go. Let's go. We're jumping into our next game. We're jumping into our next series. And Vitas are done. Sorry, just wasn't quite. I was caught a little bit off guard. They were very fast with their Vitas. We're good. We are good to go. We're jumping into our next matchup and spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak. This time we're not messing around with any kind of random nonsense. This time we are locking in. We have our South Korean Zerg for Weibo Gaming. It is Shin for Weibo Gaming. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the German Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Mouse. It is herO Marine. Go. Light hydrating is Hydra's live. Yes, I had to hydrate, baby. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our ZVT. Coming into this, I do favor Shin. But at the same time, I know that Gabe has been playing around with some quirky builds. I know he's been making a lot. He's been playing a lot of mech as of late against Protoss and even against Zerg. I'm curious if he does embrace that here. For now, 2-Rex Reaper. 2-Rex Reaper out of Gabe. This technically can switch into mech, but a bio transition is typically more standard here. Regardless, the Reapers are going to be on the way, and we'll see how Shin does respond. For now, Hatch Gas Pool. Hatch Gas Pool out of our Zerg. We are settling in. Oh, thank God there's StarCraft on. There's literally always StarCraft on. Este means horns, papi. Este means horns. Always StarCraft. There's too much, papi. There's too much. We can't keep up. Not like this. The other big question becomes, is Gabe going to throw down a third Rax? But now we would have had one, so it looks like 2-Rex Reaper. So 2-Rex Reaper, not 3 Rax. With this, he will be expanding behind this. He's going to be applying a lot of pressure, of course, and the goal of this opener is to delay the third. Delay the third base, delay the expansion of Shin, keep him contained on 2 bases for as long as possible, and delay the economy, the production of the Zerg. And this leads into typically a 2-1-1, into a stim timing. For now, Reapers are on the way. We should be making 3 Reapers at most. If Shin is greedy, if he tries to take a 3rd base, then Gabe can actually stay on Reaper production and get a 4th and 5th Reaper. But 3 should be enough here for the time being, as the first Reaper is moving out. And behind this, we're not making any additional. Oh, my apologies. No, that is a 4th Reaper in production. We'll see if he commits. There is a 3rd. Yeah, there is a 3rd hatchery. Gabe, he hasn't checked yet. For now, he's poking in. Does poke in, pulls away, he's checking for the base, and again, he should focus this down. As we have the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Reaper. Okay, so 5 Reapers, that should be enough to force a cancel. Oh, and Shin, he's not droning, he's going for the Bane Bus follow-up. So the response here is the Reapers are going to be busy focusing down that hatchery. Because they're busy, no scatting. There's no scat into the main base. The Bane Nest is hidden. Right now, Shin, he's not droning. He's going for an all-in. He's going for a Bane Blast to break his opponent. 3rd CC! No, he's going for a 3rd CC before factory. So he delays the factory. He delays the tech labs. He delays the add-ons. He delays everything in favor of a 3rd CC. That is quite greedy here. And Shin, he can punish this. Link speed is done in 10 seconds. It's important, though, that Shin doesn't deny the scout. Drone goes down. There's a cancel. And here comes Link speed. Yeah, Link speed does kick in, going for the surround. We'll see if he can. Nice KDA charges, buying time. But Lings, they will catch 1. We'll see if he can catch up to 5. He gets 3. Yeah, 3 Reapers go down. 2 Reapers barely do escape. So nice catch there from Shin. And remember, he's going for the all-in. He's going for the bust. 6 Banelings already morphing in. And there's no bunker. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing at home. Why is there nothing at home? Because of the 3rd CC. The 3rd CC, maybe the bus comes in, breaks through the front door. And the production is they're still in production. The army's still in production. Reapers are racing back home. Lings, they flood in. GG gets called. And Shin takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Gabe, he did cut corners. He did opt to be greedy as the follow-up, which is fine. You can be greedy. You can get away with that. But the problem was that he was being greedy with his follow-up without scouting. He didn't know what was happening. And I don't blame him, right? He was focusing down the hatchery. It was all planned. It was all lined up. Again, the reason why there was no scout was because the hatchery was buying time, was distracting Gabe at the 3rd base. So he never did quite slip in. GG. GG, well played. With that, Gabe, he was caught with his pants down, and Shin takes a lead in the series. And now we're getting into game 2. We're getting into game 2 here. And game 2 is good. What were the vetoes? Game 2 is going to be on torches. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Torches is coming up next. One of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. And we'll get into it. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of torches, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg leading the series 1-0. Representing Weibo Gaming, it is Shin. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Terran player. We have the German Terran representing Mouse. It is a herO Marine. Here we go. This time we're setting up on the high ground. This time there is not going to be 2x Reaper. Again, 2x Reaper is less than ideal on torches. The reasoning for this is because there is no Reaper cliff into the main. There's no Reaper cliff. Technically, you can go into the main base via the natural, but again, only via the natural. So the ways into the bases are quite limited on torches, so we're kind of deterred from going into a heavy Reaper start. So instead, standard opener out of Gabe. Likewise, Shin looks like we may opt to go for a gasless opener. So far, Hatch, we'll see if we take any gas. Yep, Hatch into pool. No gases. So we're playing gasless. We've spoken about this before, but there are certain maps where gasless openers and gasless styles are favored. This is one of them. What is torches compared to everyone else or every other map is the ramp. There's a ramp coming to the natural. What this means is that you can wall this area off with Evo chambers, with a Roach Warren, and with a Queen. So you can fully wall up, fully turtle up as well. Then you can mine through these minerals and take your 3rd base over at the triangular 3rd location. And what that means is that Hellion Harass and Reaper Harass can't really get much done. right? Because you're pretty secure here, unless the Terran player also mines out these patches. They have to mine through these patches, then they can also start to harass these bases. But again, the entrance from the third to the natural is also going to be 1 hex long, 1 hex large, so you can opt to delay your gases. I say that the gas was now being taken, so we're now mining gas, but as you can see here, we're not really prioritizing gas income. This tells us that most likely Shin is going to skip link speed. We skip link speed and we get into roach play. We wall up, we defend with queens and slow links. It's a very greedy way to open up, but there are certain maps like this where you can get away with it. It's not applicable to all maps though. Not applicable to all maps, so it's typically on a map by map basis. Oh. As the Reaper is going to be deflected, the queen pops out. Queen does pop. Here in Marine, he does notice that minerals are being mined from. Does notice. Again, we'll see if Shin does invest into link speed. I would say that if we were going gasless, this gas is quite early. I mean, later compared to regular builds. Meanwhile, Gabe is going for the 3rd CC before Starport. Standard economic opener here out of Gabe. And you can see Shin, he is opening up that 3rd base location. That triangular 3rd. And as you can see, Shin, he has an abundance of gas. He has 132 gas. No link speed, as we mentioned, because he's working into roaches. Or working towards roaches. Because of the opener. Oh, going into the fast layer. Now, this can still be into roaches, into fast roach speed. Technically, though, this could be the setup for 2-base muta. True. This could be the setup here if we take extra gases, but nah, there it is. There's that roach horn. As we mentioned, the goal here is to wall off this ramp. There's that roach horn with Evo chamber with queen, just to make sure that Hellion Reaper doesn't really get much done. Oh, nice snipe on the tumor. Tumor goes down. Gabe, what has he seen? He didn't scout the main. Yeah, he didn't scout the main base. He's not fully aware as to what's going on. If he checks the ramp, if he sees even the roach horn, that will be a sign, that will be a tell. But as we spoke about at the start of the game, it can be quite difficult to scout on this map. Reaper goes in. Oh, leaves a position. Oh, and the Reaper scout is denied. Here in Marine, he does scout the entrance to the 3rd base. He does see it is open, so he's aware of the 3rd base location at least, but he hasn't seen much else. Did he see the roach warren? He did not. But I would say that going gasless here is very common on torches. So assuming it's going to be roach-based heavy play, you can make that assumption here for Gabe. As now he confirms.
Complete.
Dips in, he confirms the tech, he sees everything researching, he does see the buildings moving, so he knows. He knows that the lair is done, he knows that upgrades are on the way. And as we mentioned, the Hellion Reaper shouldn't get any damage done. We have a full wall here at the ramp, and there's no way into the 3rd. As Gabe has a mine through the mineral patches. Bearing in mind, these tumors, they expire at around 750, around, I think it's like 752 in game. So eventually, this will open up. It's like just sub 8 minutes. And Shin is opening up Roach, and he's doing what he does best. He should be going Roach into what? Into Hive, into Ultras. If you recall, this is the quote-unquote style, the kind of end game that he went for to take down Clem, to defeat Clem at DreamHack Dallas. And has kind of shaped the meta since then. Ever since DreamHack Dallas, a lot of Zerg players have been following suit. Players like Raynor, players like even Cyril, Solar, the other Korean Zergs. As we have a full wall up here, and Hive is on the way. Again, my assumption is that the purpose of the Hive tech is to get into Ultras. I don't know how well this will work on torches, just because the map is so small. Tumors are being focused down. Banshees, they hit the natural, not bad. 4 drones. Oh god. It wasn't bad initially, but 1 Banshee goes down. That was not worth it. We have some safety infestors on the way. We have link speed on the way. We are waiting for melee upgrades for those Ultras. We're going to have at least +1 carapace. But we will need those melee upgrades. Hellion's getting called out. Gabe, he gets his 3rd base up and running. Gets his 3rd. Evo chambers are done. Still lacking that gas though. There's +2 carapace. Yep, there's +1 melee, as we mentioned, Ultras. That's going to be the big power spike for Shin. That's his win condition. Get to the Ultras, Pappy. Get to the Ultras. Oh, nice contamination on combat shields. Okay. Lands a contamination. Hive is done. The drone count is still quite low, actually. Yeah, very low drone count. Shin for now focusing on his Ling Roach. There's that Ultra Cavern. Again, this is quite expensive because we have to wait for the Ultra upgrades as well. We have to get into Kindness Plating, into Ultra Speed. And here comes Gabe. Now, can Gabe break Shin before Ultra Tech? Right now is when Shin is at his most vulnerable. That's also why Shin got the Safety Infestors, because he needs Fungals. Remember, he is defending without Banelings, and that is intentional. It's purely Ling Roach Ravager. The reason why is because the gas that was going to be spent on Banelings is being spent on the Hive and on the Ultras. So that's all intentional. It's all by design. But that's also why right now is when Shin is vulnerable. And hey, 4th base goes down. 4th base is denied. Nice Figure of Fear by Gabe. Oh. Shin, he does expand towards the south side instead. Or towards the center. There's Kindness Plating. Oh, as Shin has to be careful. He's pushing into range of the tanks. And again, Shin, he's almost there. Now remember, Gabe, his army is not built to deal with Ultras. We have Marines and tanks. There's not really many Marauders. We are making 6 Marauders at a time. If given time, Gabe, he will be getting into this mass Marauder style. Likewise, no Ghosts yet. No Ghosts, no Liberators. At the same time, Lings, they do get into the middle line. Oof. Yeah, massive run by. They get in. That's going to be 15. Oh, no, he comes back. Yeah, he comes back too soon. 21 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. A brutal run by Gabe, completely out of position. And again, that was purely Lings. That should not have happened. And Gabe is being forced all in. He's being forced onto creep. But now Kindness Plating is done. The Infestors are ready. The Ultras are out. Like, now Shin is ready. Shin, he wants to fight on creep. At the same time, Lings, they try to catch reinforcements. They head into the main. Thankfully, Gabe does lift in time. Does lift. Lings, they peel off into the mineral line. Ultras have arrived. Fungals, they don't quite connect. Oh, they do towards the end though. Oh my god, massive Fungals. The Marines get caught out. The Ultras, they dive in. And with that Shin, he completely crushes the army. Breaks through the tank line. And he can just chase us all the way to the third. The third base is so exposed here on the low ground. So he can just keep pushing. 1 Ultra goes down. But there are still 3 left. And GG gets called. Shin, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A solid performance there out of Shin. Again, this is a style that is stronger on torches, as we mentioned, referring to going gasless into faster lair, into faster roaches without link speed, just because your bases are more secure on torches. The downside is how exposed your 4th base is, and Gabe did deny the 4th, but we were trying to emphasize that Gabe, his goal should have been to try to break Shin before Ultra Tech. And sure, he got the 4th base, but he didn't push further than that. Didn't push further, though. Instead, Gabe was a little bit too passive. In that passivity, Shin, he was able to pull off a massive run by. That run by allowed Gabe, or it meant that Gabe had to come back home. It allowed Shin to stabilize, to get into those Ultras, and to snowball out of control. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations, Shin. He does claim the series. And does he have an opponent? Let's go. Let's find out. Let us find out. Shin made that look easy. I mean, specifically that build is strong. I say that build. The opener, at least, is stronger on torches. I still do believe that there is a window in time where you can punish the Zerg player before they get Ultras. But, like, you got to be looking to hit that window specifically. Otherwise, the Ultras get out of hand for sure. They do get out of hand. But there are other maps where that's more difficult to pull off. Meanwhile, we have plenty of updates. And let's see if we have another series. Okay, from the top, we have Clem. We have Rebellion. Rebellion takes down Oriana 2-0. Nicely done. Big win there by Rebellion. Clem is up against Rebellion in the round of 16. The winner goes up against Shin in the next round. Here we go. So we are going to be waiting for that series. That's going to be my goal, at least, is to potentially cover Clem versus Shin. That'll be a very nice rematch. It's what I'm looking forward to. Personally, this is what I'm looking forward to. Scoring down, we have Lemon. Lemon takes down Nanyu 2-0. Nicely done there. Oh, nicely done by Lemon. Classic, he's up against Lemon in the next round in a PvP. ByuN up against Percival in a TBT, still ongoing. Indy? Like Indy, he gets some surprising results, mate. Like I can't. It always catches me off guard. Indy, papi shema. For those that are curious, Indy, he's a caster. He's our Polish caster, of course. And Indy takes out LiuLi 2-1. That's a big win. Big win there for Indy. He's up against MaxPax in the next round. Best of luck to Indy in that next round. Scrolling down, we have Rogue. Rogue is up against Nightmare. They're still ongoing. We have Heroes up against Ordinary. They're also mid-series in that PvP, and Showtime is up against Geralt in that PvP as well. Oh boy, so a lot of mirror matchups here in the round 16 as we are nearing the middle of the tournament. We're nearing that middle. Meanwhile, I just have an update. It looks like Clem and Rebellion have not begun. They've not started their series, so that means we have a fresh series ahead of us here. That means we are going to be jumping into another round of 16 match. We're going to be jumping into Clem versus Rebellion into Shin. So we're going to be following Clem versus Rebellion into Shin in the quarterfinals. That should be our next two series. Should be our next two matches. Beautiful. Just setting that up. Catching up in the chat. I do apologize. Hold on, I'll post it in the YouTube chat. Unfortunately, our commands don't work on YouTube chat. I don't know if there are any bots that work, like night bots or stream elements or anything like that for YouTube chats. I feel like they should, but so I do apologize. I will pin the comments in YouTube though. We'll pin it. I got you. Pin message. There we go. Otherwise, we're going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break. Clem and Rebellion, they're currently conducting their vetoes, and once they are done, we'll be jumping into their match. We'll be jumping into the match soon, TM, after the break. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. After a very short break, vetoes are done. We are jumping into our next series of the broadcast. Once again, we're here in the round of 16 to determine who will face off against Shin in the next round. As spawning in the well-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing among SC2 people. It is Rebellion. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our fresh best of 3. Let's go. Let us go. As we have our TVP, and Clem has been playing a certain style as of late. If you've been watching StarCraft over the past week of play, you would know that Clem has been doing almost exclusively mech versus Protoss. We've been seeing a lot of mech versus Protoss from players like Cure, from players like Gabe, from players like Maru, from players like Of course, Gumiho and ryung, but they've been playing mech since forever. But it's become more mainstream. Ever since EWC, ever since Esports World Cup, it has become a lot more mainstream, and the meta has shifted to the point where we're seeing a lot more mech against Protoss. Thankfully, not everyone is doing this. We were praising ByuN this morning in Picasso Cup for showcasing some incredible ByuN play, some incredible Ghost Liberator play as well in the late game against herO. If you missed it, I highly recommend watching Picasso Cup. Picasso Cup this morning was insane, and the highlight for the tournament was herO versus ByuN, for sure, 100%. Best of five between herO and ByuN. I do highly recommend it. And we did make some jokes at the time. We made some jokes like, someone send the replays to Clem so Clem can stop playing mech. Because ByuN was looking insane, and I'm hoping that maybe, you know, I know that Clem probably just woke up, but you know, maybe he got a bit of a tingling as to what was happening in the morning and is maybe aware of what occurred. Otherwise, we're expecting this to be like a 1-1-1 opener into a second and third factory into mech. That's kind of what we're leaning towards here, as that's almost exclusively what Clem has been playing in very recent time, like again over the past like 7 days. I still need to watch it. You do. I recommend it. Picasso Cup, semifinals, best of 5, herO ByuN. It was crazy. That's some solo TVP. Meanwhile, speaking of solo TVP, we are going for something more quirky here. Rebellion going for a Stargate opener. Okay, this is a much more niche opener nowadays, just because it does leave you vulnerable to certain builds, especially aggressive builds. Oh, he confirms. Yeah, Clem does confirm. He's aware of the Stargate, he's aware of the Oracles, and we should be reacting with Cyclones. Oh boy, with Cyclones, we're going for the initial medevac. We can make Vikings after this as well. So we'll see how Clem does prepare. We already have our first Cyclone. Oh, we're going for the tank behind this as well. As Rebellion, instead of moving out, he's setting up stasis rafts back at home. Interesting. Does set up before moving out. Vikings on the way for Clem. And we are rushing into the Fleet Beacon. Okay. Rebellion's got some builds. So Stargate opener, not into Phoenix, Stargate into Fleet Beacon into... Are we rushing Tempest? I would imagine. We could be rushing Carrier. But I'm a little bit concerned as the Oracle does hit the mineral line. Getting 4 CV kills, not bad. He gets 4 CVs. Gets 2 Marines, but the Viking will shut this down. Zero has to get the hell out of here. Has to pull away. Has to pull away. Ooh, stasis trap does connect. But Clem is going for the pylon. And this will delay production. So pylon does go down. I'm pretty sure this was meant to be a carrier rush. I think we've seen that from Rebellion before, but all stalkers are falling. Brutal pickoffs. Yeah, another stalker does go down. A lock on the final stalkers. And Clem, he might just kill here and now. We have a mothership. We have a mothership on the way. I mean, the Stargate's depowered. He can't make anything even if he wanted to. And Clem is just going for the kill. He's just going for the kill, going for the throw. So we didn't even get a chance to get into mech and get into additional production buildings. As mech is breaking the natural. And no manning whatsoever. Clem did lose a little workers across the map. Like, his worker count is very low. But he's got the army, and that's what matters. As boys are being pulled into what? Into 10 Marines. Oh god, the tank boys are brutal, and GG gets called with that Clem. He will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. I appreciate Rebellion whipping out some quirky builds here. Stargate opener into Fleet Beacon into... Again, I'm pretty sure it was meant to be Carrier Rush, but the Stargate was depowered, so he couldn't make a carrier. He couldn't do anything, and we saw Clem instantly react, instantly response to the scout, and just punish the build of Rebellion. GG. GG, well played. In the end was punished, and now we're getting into game number 2. We'll see if Rebellion can stabilize. We'll see what build Rebellion goes for this time. Now, I don't expect to see another fast Fleet Beacon out of Rebellion. That's typically something you do once in a series. Up next, we should be seeing something different. Maybe a robo opener into an immortal based all-in, maybe a proxy. We're expecting something more abnormal, something not standard. Show us what you got. Show us what you got. Let's go. Did he just recall a single Oracle into the Terran army? Yes, he did. that did happen. Pappy, what else could he do? It was the writing was kind of on the wall there. Things were looking dire, but regardless, we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing among SC2 people. It is Rebellion. Here we go. So we're getting into game 2, and our eyes are on our Protoss once again. Show us what you got, man. Show us what you got. Meanwhile, double gas open out of Clem, and going for a more tech-heavy style, going for a faster factory, into a faster starport, into a delayed CC. As Rebellion is coming in for the scout. Does move in. Will cause a bit of a disruption here when it comes to the economy, forcing out another SCV, but outside of that, Clem should be secure. So waiting for that factory. Back at home at gate cyber expand out of Rebellion. Standard opener. Safe opener. And Rebellion, he didn't quite see the gases, didn't quite see the factory. For all he knows, it could be a CC a little bit further back in the main base. So Rebellion, he's a little bit in the dark as to what's going on. Technically, Clem could turn this into a one base all-in, but okay. Just 2-1 in gas. We'll expand. We'll expand, we'll get a CC. And what we're waiting for here is tech of choice for Rebellion. Does he go Stargate again? Does he go Twilight Council? Does he go into a Robo? We're waiting for Rebellion's tech. Meanwhile, from Clem, we're waiting to see if he gets an earlier tech lab. We're waiting to see how he gets into his starport production here. So far, nowhere to mine. Going for the initial Hellion. I would imagine just for scouting. Ooh, going Reactored Reaper. So he's going to commit a little bit harder. Reaper does pull away. But basically, Reactor Reaper Hellion is meant to ideally get into a mineral line, where you bypass the army, you bypass this wall, you get into the mineral line, you roast up probes, and you get an economic lead early on. We'll see if Clem can pull it off, as he's about to reveal his hand. I say that depth does shade away. And here comes Clem. He's moving out. Here comes the first tech lab. Tech lab on the factory. We can then go into an add-on swap into, say, Banshee play. Or Raven. It does keep the tech lab on the factory, going for the Cyclone. As so far, Rebellion's in position, does wall off. He has a force field, he has a sentry. Clem goes up the ramp, but the pylon should not go down. It's taking a lot of hits, though. Jesus. Oh, there's a force field. Nicely done. Force field at the natural. The pylon is getting very low. One Reaper goes down, but he will get the pylon. Yeah, pylon falls. Ay. Again, that should not have happened. Clem rotates, but the natural is solid. So on the one hand, Clem doesn't get into a mineral line, but he does still find damage. And behind this, if you recall in game 1, we spoke about how we expected mech out of Clem, but the game didn't last that long. Here, we're now finally getting into mech. So mechville accelerators into a second and third factory into mech, which is what Clem has been doing and nothing but mech over the past week or so in TVP. It's been a lot of mech. A lot of mech. So far the pylon goes down. Oh. Takes on the pylon, trades with the army. That one cycle putting in a lot of damage to the back line. Gets a lock on. But so far, Rebellion is holding. At the same time, does Force Field. Once Rebellion, he's on point with his Force Field. Is on point. Now, has Rebellion been watching Clem recently? Because he could blindly just assume that Clem is playing mech. Just because, again, this has been his MO. Oh, that is a third CC before additional factories. Okay. Got my attention. Greedy follow-up at a Clem. There are the factories. So more of an economic variation of mech because of the faster third. Rebellion does poke in. When it comes to versus mech play, ideally you do want a gateway heavy composition, very gateway heavy. We have seen a lot of players experiment with going into Bay into Colossus, of going into Storm, of going into Skytoss. But yeah, going for a more gateway heavy style is typically what you want. Storm is going to be less useful and less effective here, as mech is a little bit more robust and mobile as well. Referring to battle mech specifically. So I'm not too sure I'm too fond of the idea of going into Storm, but we'll see. And so far that's going to be 6 pro kills. Workers going down. Oh, as a lot the look-ons are brutal. He's gonna lose every single stalker. Ay. 2 stalkers, they try to get away. Oh my god. And one of them barely will. That's brutal. With that Rebellion, he will lose map control. His third base is vulnerable. No shield batteries. Shield battery just now on the way. Storm is ready. And Rebellion, he's hurting. Rebellion, he is in trouble. There's the first Storm. There's the first. He has 2 more. He has 1 High Templar full of energy. He's got a couple of Storms left. You can't waste them. There's the second Storm. We have 1 Storm remaining. Clem dropping into the natural. Rotating over. From here, Clem just pulling away. Does pull away, gets a couple of workers, and remember, behind this, he wasn't all in. His third base is fully saturated. His third base is getting fully saturated. Now he can build up into the rest of his production. He's getting into a 5 factory setup, into more battle mech. Clem adapting to the patch and going battle mech, good to see. I would say he's adapting to the meta more so than the patch. I think we spoke about this a couple of days ago, but because the meta shifted to a lot of Protoss players going to Storm very early, this is a good kind of counter to that, just because Storm is less effective against battle mech. I would probably say that Protoss players are soon going to be, as battle mech is becoming more common and more popular, we're going to be seeing Protoss players adapt to that as well, and stop going into faster Storm and start playing safer, and most likely going into more robo heavy openers and robo heavy starts alongside their gateway army, of course, and then that will probably dissuade mech. So I can see like the meta shifting, like again, like in a couple of months, as it typically does. Storms a crazy army. Look-ons, they will be able to shut down those Stalkers once again. The Stalkers, they don't blink away, they don't blink out. And with that, Clem, he will break through. He'll break through this army. He does overwhelm again. The Storms do nothing. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew, GG, well played. And again, this is why currently right now we're seeing this rise in popularity of mech, because Protoss players have been starting to go for these more Storm heavy starts and blindly going into Templar Archives and Storm. You can see here the Storm is much less effective here against this more heavy Hellion Cyclone style, because it's more mobile and because it does less damage. You can just punish, you can just bait out, and then just overwhelm. GG, well played. Clem does claim the series, does advance on to the next round. Let's go. Let us go. But that's also why, again, if you've been watching PvTs as of late, now the opponents of Clem, I'm referring to players like MaxPax and herO and Classic, they have been going for, they've not been going for these storm follow-ups now. Like they're adapting to that. But again, it's still recent. It's still very recent when it comes to how like battle mech has been becoming more trendy. More recent. And GG well played with that. Clem does claim the series, very well done. And now we're going into the quarterfinals. We're following Clem into his next matchup. He's going up against Shin in that round of 8. Let's go. Let us go. So before Gumiho's mech, he would only purchase armor first. Kozokun ignores armor, but nice to see. I mean, there are different forms of mech for sure. Like, I still really enjoy Cure's form of mech. Cure, when he goes mech, he goes actually for a tank heavy style, and he plays more defensively until he like builds up to like 160 to 180 supply, then he pushes out. But he only does that on smaller maps. So if you watch him on Pylon, on Ultralove, on these smaller maps, like that's where he can like pop off with that. But yeah, a lot of the Terran players have been playing around a lot with mech. Some with battle mech, some with like traditional mech. Have been playing around with it. But do we have any updates? Let's go. Let's find out. Meanwhile, shout out to Rebellion. Rebellion, of course, he was able to showcase some quirky builds in Game 1 by going into the Fast Fleet Beacon, but didn't really get into it, unfortunately. And here in Game 2, it feels like maybe Rebellion is maybe less familiar with Clem's recent style of going into battle mech. GG. GG well played. Let's catch up on the bracket here, as from the top, we have our next series. We have the quarterfinals, which appear to be underway throughout the bracket. Okay, so we have Clem versus Shin. That is our next series. Of course, that is our next series. Clem versus Shin. They're going to be facing off in a best of 3. Scrolling down, ByuN takes down Percival. Classic takes down Lemon. We have ByuN versus Classic also ongoing. Honestly, that's going to be a spicy one. That's going to be a spicy series as well. Personally, I would love to be able to cast everything. Like, you can't really go wrong in the quarterfinals. Shin versus Clem is going to be a banger. Classic versus ByuN, also going to be a banger as well. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have MaxPax. MaxPax is waiting for the winner of Rogue and Nightmare. So again, I also was looking at this bracket and I was tempted to go towards the southern half to potentially get into MaxPax versus Rogue. I mean, best of luck to Nightmare, but regardless of who his opponent is going to be, should be a good one as well. And we have herO versus Geralt. Also, oh my apologies. I assumed it was going to be herO versus Showtime. Geralt takes down Showtime 2-0. Calm down, Bobby. Calm down. Oh my god. Geralt popping off. Very nice result. Bearing in mind, I think it was last week in LiuLi Cup. Showtime beat Classic. Like Showtime, he took down Classic in, I think it was either LiuLi Cup or maybe it was Wardy TV Monday. But in one of the weeklies, one of the regular weeklies, Showtime did just beat Classic. So for Geralt to beat Showtime, really impressive. Really impressive stuff there in that PvP. GG well played, and now Geralt is up against herO in the quarterfinals. Best of luck. But I mean, Geralt, he already achieved so much in this tournament. Wishing him the best to maybe achieve a little bit more. He's gonna need it though against herO. Gonna need it. Best of luck. Este Geralt. And we're just waiting for Rogue and Nightmare to wrap up before all the quarterfinal matches are underway. We'll get there. We will get there. For now, though, we are not going on a break. Vitas are done. Vitas are done, and we're getting into Clem versus Shin, starting up in a couple of moments. Just making sure we have all of our casters. It looks like herO and Geralt are just now starting as well. If you want to tune into the Geralt match, I believe Indy. No, God. No, yeah. I was gonna correct myself because I was like, all right, Indy, he was playing, but no. Indy, he just got knocked out by MaxPax. So I believe Indy should be casting Geralt series. He's got you. I don't know if anyone's casting Classic versus ByuN. Based on the casters in our lobby, maybe Saber. Maybe Saber's casting Classic and ByuN. Maybe Rex. What's Rex casting? Rogue. Like Rex, he usually follows Zerg players, so I'm a little bit surprised. Okay, yeah. If you want to tune into Rogue versus Nightmare during the Ace match, Rex is covering that. Usually Rex, he like lashes onto a Zerg player. So it looks like Rexy went for Rogue, not for Shin. And I think LiuLi is covering ByuN, I believe. But regardless, here we go. We're jumping into our series and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player with the red Zerg. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is Shin. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as this is a rematch. Clem and Shin, they have a little bit of history with each other, and Clem has been vocal about his struggles in this matchup, specifically against Shin's style. We spoke about this earlier, but Shin, he showcased this more. Oh, looks like we're doing it again. Yeah, hatch pool delayed gases. Looks like Shin is going for a gases opener. Meanwhile, Clem is going to Rax Reaper. Interesting dynamic. I do actually favor Clem in this dynamic, but we'll see. We'll get into it. Very quickly, Clem, he was interviewed afterwards, and he did express how he was having a really hard time against Shin. Shin, he showcased these gases openers going into Roaches, Roach into Ultra, against Clem at DreamHack Dallas. If you recall, it was the same style that we just saw Shin play against Gabe, which he did defeat him in, and he did kind of shift the meta a little bit. Now we have a rise in popularity from players like serO, Solar, and Raynor also going for the same style, and Clem has been having a bit of a harder time against it. It also is a little bit map dependent. On larger maps where Clem can maybe take up a little bit faster, he has been going for faster ghost production, but we'll get into it when we get there, because first things first, 2x Reaper. 2x Reaper out of Clem, and remember, the gases were delayed here, so late link speed out of Shin, which means these Reapers, there's going to be an extended period of time where they can have map control. So here we go. Reapers are moving out. Shin does confirm, does scout. And Shin should be stuck on 2 bases. He should not be able to expand. And unlike against Gabe, Shin, he does not have the option to go for a Bane Bust. So no Bane Bust here out of Shin. Yep, he's making another set of queens, so he's not expanding. Clem confirms, no expansion. He does confirm no hatchery. He's just double checking. With that, he will contain. See, is going to be mech again. Clem, he mainly plays mech. When I say mainly, he exclusively plays mech against Protoss. Against Zerg, Clem, he has dabbled in mech, but I would not say it's a sure thing. He still plays bio against Zerg. In a best of 5, we could see Clem go mech once, but I expect bio out of Clem more so than not. And we're going for a third Rax. 3 CC, 3 Rax. Okay. Clem pulling a ByuN. Let's go. So 3 CC, 3 Rax follow-up here out of Clem. He does invest into a 4th Reaper. And can he get any of the queens? Oof. Defeats on the way. So far, nice reactions here by Shin. Nice rotation. The lair is on the way. Remember, he's skipping link speed. He's skipping link speed, going into the lair, going into Roaches. Remember, this was a gasless opener or a late gas opener into Roach play, into ideally Infestation Bit, into Hive Tech, into Ultras. I'm calling it a little bit early, but that's kind of like the trajectory that Shin is working towards. We'll see if he cuts workers early. This is the other scary thing about Shin's style, is that if he wants to, he could cut workers early and commit into a Roach all-in on 3 bases. That's another option he can go for. Meanwhile, Stim is on the way. As a reminder, with this build of Clem, he delayed the factory and he delayed the starport in favor of not just a 3rd CC, but in favor of a 3rd Rax as well. So it does mean that Clem's move out is going to be much later, if he wants to wait for Metavax. So it's going to be a delayed push out of Clem, but when it does move out, it's going to hit quite hard. It's going to be up to Shin to drone up as best he can, but remember, he has a late 3rd base from Shin, so his economy is stifled. It's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a tough hold for our Zerg player, but we'll see if he can get there. Shin, he has 7 Roaches on the way. I believe these are just safety Roaches out of Shin. It's getting quite a lot though. Going to get up to 13. So 13 Roaches. That's quite a lot of defensive Roaches. From here, he's droning. I'm concerned that he's maybe invested too heavily into Roaches. Like, he needs to drone up as much as he can while he can before the medivacs arrive. Because here come the medivacs, they're coming. And with those medivacs comes the main push. There's the infestation bit. Again, this should be for safety infestors, then getting into the hive. Shin, he's getting there, but again, it's not going to be easy. Shin, he has to drone. He has to saturate while he can. But again, the droning is delayed. And the medivacs, here they come. Medivacs are out. Which means Clem can stim. And if he moves out now, he will hit with combat shields as well. It's almost done. Here come the safety infestors. Shin holds. Yeah, Shin, he holds the infestors. They will come out in time for the push. So if there was a window, it's come and gone at this point. So from here, Shin can take a 4th base, fully saturate, and now work towards hive. So my apologies. I assumed that with Stim and with the medivacs we were going to be going, but no, Clem is being a little more passive here. Being a little more passive, which again means that Shin, he can reach his final form, or he can work towards it. Oh, range upgrade. Hello. That wasn't here last time. So with this range upgrade, now suddenly, we spoke at the start of this game, if you remember, how Shin, he has an option to go for a roach base play instead of for 3 bases. With range upgrade, I'm leaning more towards that here, where it looks like he's committing harder into Roach Ravager. But the hive is still on the way. The range upgrade is going to delay the melee upgrades here, which means the Ultra Switch is going to be a little bit weaker. But it also means that he can stay on Roach Ravager a little bit longer. So there's a give and take here. You could argue that this is just safer play from Shin. Oh, he's not skipping the Baneliness either. Okay, so he's going Lingbane Roach Ravager. So Lingbane Roach Ravager out of Shin. Again, remember, against Gabe, he skipped range and he also skipped Banelings as well. So Shin is cutting less corners. Even though, because Clem is getting a 4 CC and because it's been so passive back at home, I feel like Shin could have cut corners. He could have cut corners and been more greedy here. Of course, he doesn't know that.
You're engaging the opponent.
God, every time.
To raise your APM.
Every time, Shin. I just want to look at your POV. God damn it. Every time. Este Shin. Okay, here comes that Ultra Cavern. Once again, as we were mentioning, this Ultra Switch, I should say, is going to be a little bit more delayed compared to what we saw against Gabe because of the corners that we're not cutting right, because of the range upgrade, because of the Baneliness, because of the Baneling speed as well. But Clem is playing so carefully. Taking his 4th, only moving out with drop play. Drops are spotted. Army's in position, Lings, they get shut down. Nice defense here by Clem. And Shinny's hunting for the Fungal. Doesn't quite get it. Ultra production has begun. Clem is pushing. Both armies are max. But the Ultras, they take time. And Clem doesn't quite commit. Which means Shin, he will be able to make the Ultras. The Ultras will pop out. Clem, he does rotate to the left. Appreciate this movement. Purely Lings are not going to cut it. Yeah, Clem, he breaks through. He breaks through the left-hand side at the same time pushing on the right. Roach Ravager's going to be falling. The Ultras, they're still on the way. And bases will fall. And Ultras now being revealed. And remember, one of the big downsides of this army from Shin, no anti-air. Remember, there's no Vipers, there's no Hydras, no Spire, no Mutas, no Corruptors. So with a good enough control, Clem can just pick up. You can just pick up and keep dropping. We can just keep on dropping. Ooh, within range of the Spore though. Okay. True, I forgot about the Spores. Spore does kill one of the Medivacs. Fungal does graze the army. Nice target firing at a Clem. He does focus on the infestors, but the fungal still lands. Yeah, brutal fungal. The ultras, they collapse in. As Clem, he has to stim away. More ultras collapsing in the army. So fire kites well. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3 ultras. If there was a fungal here, that would change everything, but there's no fungal. Oh, and Shin, he's overextending, rushing into a wall of marauders. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, big overextension for Shin. He lost all the ultras. Feels ultra speed, man. Ultra speed, just still not quite done. And Clem, now is the time. Now is the time to push. Ultra speed just finished. After all the ultras went down. Not like this, baby. Not like this. And that was quite expensive. Again, that was an expensive loss for Shin, losing 8 ultras. And Shin is stuck at home. Does land a fungal. But no follow-up. Oh, brutal loss there. Infestor goes down. That was a high energy Infestor as well. Oh no, the miss rally. Oh, throws away another Infestor. Yeah, miss rally at a Shin. And Clem, he can just stim and win at this point. Like, there's nothing to stop him. He just push on forward. There's what? There's no fungals. There's 2 ultras, a handful of banelings. We do have an intended flank. But again, the army just isn't there for Shin. He's being outscaled. He had a big power spike earlier, but he lost that lead. He lost that army. And he can't quite recover from that. As we're down to 0 ultras. Final ultra goes down. Base is broken. GG gets called. And Clem, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Clem, very careful play is what I will say out of Clem. He, despite, I would say, having some opportunities to be more active, he was playing very carefully. I think partly just because of maybe some of the history between Clem and Shin, and maybe having some bad recollections and bad experiences when it comes to being overly aggressive against Shin. So just really careful play there from Clem, being able to go for a bit of a slower early to mid game. I will say because of that, Shin did miss opportunities. He did miss opportunities where he could have been greedier, where he could have cut more corners against Clem, but he blindly wasn't aware of that, right? He was setting up. He was instead trying to play safe, which set him behind, and it did kind of delay things. It did delay his ultras, did delay his upgrades as well, which did factor in, did delay his economy. As he was kind of playing safe when he didn't need to. And with that, GG. With that, GG well played. With that, Clem, it did overwhelm. And now we're getting into game number 2. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Game 2 is going to be on torches. Now, we spoke about some of the advantages and disadvantages of torches earlier in the herO Marine series. I can see Shin going for the same thing here as well. Going for this gasless opener into this roach start, in towards Hive Tech. It can work quite well here, but Clem knows this. He knows this, he's aware of this, he's experienced in this kind of situation. I would expect Clem to be hyper aggressive to stop Shin from actually getting into that Hive Tech and getting into that kind of like late game composition. So we'll see. We shall see. I'm very curious to see how Clem will approach Shin on this map. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of torches, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is Shin. We go. Go, as we do have our initial opener here. And we'll see if Shin once again goes for a spawning pool before his gas geyser. It's what we're expecting, but do we go for the same style 2 games in a row? Oh, the answer is no. We are going hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Shin. Okay. Okay. You have my attention. You have my attention here. So Shin, he does switch gears. He does switch gears. Going for a standard start, which means there's a higher chance we're going to be going into Ling Bane. Let's go. Meanwhile, Clem going for a Rax expand. Standard open out of Clem. Our opener. And we did pull out of gas. So Link Speed is on the way, pulls out of gas as well. So this is a stock standard opener out of Shin. Opening up Ling Bane. Technically, this can still lead into Roach play in the mid game, but this is just a much more standard start, which means there are more options available. We could go into Roaches. We could also go into Ling Bane. Just straight up Ling Bane into Ling Bane Hive, into Ling Bane Ultra, or Ling Bane into Hydra, of course. Muta play would be crazy. It's a little more unorthodox in current meta. Shin does claim his third, and we do have a third CC before Starport for Clem. Economic opener, economic build. We go. So from here we're settling in.
Command center upgrade complete.
From here we can go into the adult. Wait, what? Hold on. This is not normal. So we have a third CC before Starport, but we leave the reactor on the tech lab. Sorry, tech lab. We leave the reactor on the racks and we make a tech lab on the factory instead. So no Hellion production. No Hellions whatsoever. I guess it makes sense just because of the map. It's harder to get Hellion harass done at the natural. But yeah, this is not what I'm used to seeing. Because the marine count is going to be higher than normal. So we're going to have a higher marine count. We have a second Rax on the way. This is a more unique variation of 111. Interesting. Which I'm pretty sure is just specifically because of the map itself, because we are on torches. And because Hellions do have a hard time fighting damage. Okay. It does mean that the stim timing and the potential 7-minute push should hit harder as well because of the higher marine count. I mean, I say hit harder. At the same time, it also means that there won't be any Hellions or Hellbats to help support the tank push. That is going to be the downside. As the Roach Warren is done, we have a 440 lair here on the way. So relatively standard lair first build here by Shin. And he does have access to safety roaches. Reactor on the factory. Interesting. CC's floating over. Double Evo chamber out of Shin. Prioritizing those upgrades. We're looking to see if we're going to go into range upgrades. If so, then this could just be straight up Roach Ravager. Just Roach Ravager Ling Bane. The fact that it's double Evo chamber also tells us that most likely we're not rushing into invitation pits. Yep, there we go. Range upgrades on the way. So we're committing quite hard into Roach Ravager. Go. Tank production has begun. We spoke about that 7-minute push, and again, that's typically what we work towards. We're getting there in a bit of a different way. Safety infestation, but that should be for safety infestors. So players are still building up. I'm setting up for the push. Does leave his tanks behind, just moving out with a double drop. Oh. So far it's deflected. As we're getting to range upgrades, oh, we're not doubling down on Roach Ravager. We are taking up into Hydra. Hydra's alongside the Hive into Hydra Lurker play. Okay, let's go. So Shin rushing into Lurkers. It's all coming together. Now the range upgrades make more sense as it leads into Lunkers. That being active won't get too much done, but does clear up a lot of creep. Doesn't lose anything. Doesn't lose anything. Back at home, he's just turtling up. He's not moving out. He's only moving out with drops. Building up his bio, building up his tanks, getting into 2-2 upgrades. And is clearing up a lot of creep. We'll lose 1 Marine. Oh. His branches are caught out. Brutal losses. Losing 1 so far. But Clem at least does scout the Hydras. He knows. Here's where the Hydras. The factory isn't set up for more tank production. It's stuck with mines for the time being. Getting into his Ghost Academy, 4th base on the way, still very tense. But the Lurkers aren't ready. Yeah, we got 4 Lurkers, 4 Shin. They're now moving in. Lurkers are late rotation out of the Zerg player. And he does kite well. Kites away from the Lurkers. Does kite back, out of range. Remember, range upgrade is not done for Lurkers. There's a scan. And there's barely any support for Shin. Shin is down to a handful of Hydras. The base is going to fall. And honestly, Clem might even just break this position. Just dropping into the main. Picks up, drops into the main base. There are some units ready. And Shin will hold. Hold on. Ooh, the medevacs are trapped. Uh-oh. Oh, does miss out. We'll lose 1. Oh my god. Barely only 1. 1 medevac force. But again, that was a nice trade. Like Clem, he did trade well here. You can see 15 roaches, 5 hydras, the expansion, 9 drones. For mainly marine and a handful of marauders. So a very efficient trade. The downside, though, is the lurker count was left alone. I feel like the opportunity to snipe those 4 lurkers, but Shinny saved them, and now he's building up more. Building up more lunkers. Clem is rotating. Clem is rotating over. His ghosts are ready. How many lurkers? 11 lurkers so far. But the snipe's going to be brutal. Oh, he gets 3. He's going to get everything. Yeah, he's going to catch every single lurker. The snipes pop off. Ghost A shut Shin down. And he's going for it. He can't just keep going. He's pushing into the mineral line. Forcing a response. Lurkers, they do keep up. Massive lurker shots going off on the Marines. A lot of Marines go down, but down goes the mineral line. 12 drone kills and another expansion. Clemmy's pushing in. Catching out the attempted Jobber Lords. Oh, and then back at home, there are no Banelings, only purely Ling. Hydra's they can struggle here as well. Catching a queen. And Shin is being pulled apart. Does save his 4th base at least, but he's stuck on 4 bases, and an even base count with the Terran. I should say he's down a base as Clem is taking a 5th. And Shin is falling behind. He's just falling further behind here. Now the 5 lurkers does at least catch a tank. He needs bases, he needs an economy. As Shin is broke. Like Shin, he just doesn't have a bank. Having a hard time maxing out. Just now getting into Banelings. Oh, not again. Snipes to get one more. One more lurker, fighting out of range of lurkers as well. Here come the snipes. And the lurkers, they get reset. Do you have another wave? Another wave coming in. Oh, God. But the Roach Hydra gets shut down. More snipes popping up. Thankfully, the scan runs out. So Shin, he's surviving. Trying to survive. But here come the snipes. Yeah, I love these spread here from the Ghosts, and they will snipe everything. The Lurkers, the Roach Hydra. Oh, Clem does move command into the army, though. As the scan ran out. So again, scans are hindering Clem more than anything. There it is. There's another scan. Ghost coming in from behind. And there's one Lunker remaining. Just the one, and it goes down. That was the final lurker, and with that Shin, he has nothing to defend. He has a couple of reinforcements trickling in. GG gets called, and Clem will overwhelm. Clem will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Clem does claim the series. Shin having an interesting approach here on torches. As a reminder, I was surprised to see that Shin didn't go gasless on torches, but I'm pretty sure it's only because he didn't go gasless in game 1 either. So, because he didn't go gases in game 1, he didn't want to go for the same style, didn't want to go for the same build, opted to go for lurkers instead. Unfortunately, had a hard time defending against the fringe bases. A big reason for this, of course, is how small the map is. Torches has a shorter rush distance by ground, so the aggression from Clem proved to be a little bit too much, as he was knocking down base after base, mineral lines as well, and Shin could not maintain his economy, so he couldn't afford to keep up with the trades that Clem was having. GG. GG, well played. A really solid active style out of Clem to punish some of the immobility of that army as well. To move in, to snipe bases, snipe expansions, get mineral lines. GG. GG, well played. I do think that Shin had a better showing in game 1, but if you recall, at least my big criticism in game 1 was how safe Shin was playing when he otherwise didn't need to be. But he didn't know either, right? He didn't know how passive and defensive Clem was being in game 1. So didn't necessarily wasn't necessarily aware of the opportunities there. With that, GG. With that, GG, well played. And I have to figure out what's going on. As Clem does claim the series, Clem does advance on to the semifinals, and Clem is waiting for a couple of players here. We'll see where we are. Okay. So I did miss out on the lobby, unfortunately, but we do have some matches ongoing here. And to figure out what's going on. Okay, so from the top, we have Clem. Clem, he's the first player, sorry, one of the first players to make the semifinals. Actually, I can clean up this bracket a little bit here. Hold on. I got you. I think. Oh, never mind. I can't clean that. Okay. Never mind. But we do have a Clem. Clem is waiting for the winner of Classic and ByuN. They are currently mid-series. They're 4 minutes into their game. I don't know if ByuN and Classic are in game 1, 2, or 3. I also don't know if anyone's casting them, I'll be honest. I think all the other casters are in the other matches, so it would be a shame if no one is covering that series. I do think it's a really high-profile match. Regardless, best of luck to Classic and ByuN. Scrolling down, we have MaxPax and Rogue. That is a series that we just missed. I believe all the other casters dove into that. I think Indy's in that series, right? No, Indy's on that series. I think Rex. Hold on. Rex and the other boys. Rex and Harstam, yeah. Looks like Rogue and MaxPax are in the ace match. Okay, so they're in the ace match. They're in game 3 currently. We did miss out on that, unfortunately. We could have joined, but I was a little bit concerned about what was happening in the rest of the brackets. Oh my god! What? Pappy, calm down. So MaxPax and Rogue, they're currently mid-series. They're in the ace match. Meanwhile, Geralt, Geralt, Pappy, the Witcher himself. He's crazy. He 2-0'd Showtime, and he 2-0's herO. He 2-0's herO, Pappy. Oh, he's crazy. Geralt, he makes it to the semi-finals. Okay. Yo, can he go the distance? He's popping off in PvP. If he plays against MaxPax, can Geralt go all the way to the finals? Maybe. Geralt. Okay. But GG, well played. As Geralt is waiting in the semis for the winner of MaxPax and Rogue. Again, they're in the ace match. Meanwhile, Classic and ByuN, they just got out of game. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Oh my, and we just got an update. ByuN takes on Classic 2-1, and ByuN does advance on to the upper semi. So we have Clem versus ByuN up next. Meanwhile, MaxPax and Rogue are currently ongoing. Go. So we're heading over to the Americas. We're heading over into Clem and ByuN. We're heading over into TVP, true. So this should be a Terran versus Protoss matchup. As a reminder, Clem, he has not played at TVT in almost a year. In almost a year's time. He does not play TVT. He whips out the Protoss, baby. Whips out the Protoss. Semifinals, and I believe this is going to be a best of 3 if I'm not mistaken. Do you believe? Just double checking. Yeah, best of 3. Best of 3. Okay. And it looks like we do have, oh sorry, I have to fix up ByuN's race. Looks like we do have some downtime. So the plan is we are waiting for MaxPax and Rogue to finish, and then we're jumping into Clem versus ByuN. That's the plan. Is the plan. Just catching up in the chat. How can it be a best of 3 with only 2 players? I stand. Calm down, baby, calm down. I always thought tanks were the answer to Lurker. Where's the Lurker copy pasta? No. Ghosts are typically the answer to whether it's Lurker tech, whether it's Ultra tech, whether it's Broodlord tech. Need your ghost, papi. Need your ghost. For now, though, we're going to be going on a break. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. Once again, just to reiterate, we are waiting for MaxPax and herO to finish their series, and then we'll be jumping into Clem and ByuN. So we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the break. And as a reminder, it looks like we're going to be covering both semifinals, the upper semis followed by the lower semifinals. We'll be catching up with Geralt after this series. We'll get there. Until then, though, take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, hydrate all of your hydras, and we'll see you guys soon with Clem and ByuN. See you soon in around 10 or so minutes. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals or semi-finals here of LiuLi Cup number 5. I do apologize for posting too long of a countdown timer because it was a fast game. Rogue and MaxPax, they ended very quickly, and in the end MaxPax did take down Rogue, and we have MaxPax versus Geralt in the lower semi-finals. For now though, we have our fresh series, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the French Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran going for the proxy 2 ranks. Let's go! We have the South Korean Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. And if you're in the chat very quickly, it's Gamba time. Predictions. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as the 2 racks is upon us. The racks have been thrown down, and Clem, for now, is not aware. Now, with this probe scout, Clem, he will confirm that the racks is missing. So he will soon confirm that something is wrong, something is amiss. His first go-to reaction should be to scout further back in the main base for the racks, check the natural, and he might send out a second probe to check the nearby location as well. So we'll see how long it takes for Clem to realize what exactly is going on. As for now, he sees the racks is not at home, at least not at the ramp. So you can see Clem checking behind the mineral line. Again, you have to confirm behind the mineral line. He opts not to go into the corner. He goes towards the natural instead. Checking the gases. Checks behind his mineral line. Checks behind his base, and he confirms. Yeah, he does confirm the 2x Marine bunker rush. Does confirm. As the Marines are amassing, boys are being pulled. And can we get this bunkers up and running? Here comes our first bunker. First bunker's on the way. Clem, he did chrono out a safety zealot initially. Playing it safe. Good reaction. Good reaction with the zealot. STV gets started down, and oh, ByuN is being zoned away. He's being zoned away here. Once again, nice control there from Clem. Pulls away the weakened probes. We'll lose one. One probe goes down. Once again, Clem, he pulls away 2 workers. Denies the bunker. The Marine count is building up, but now here comes the Stalker. Yeah, the Stalker has arrived. Oh, barely doesn't get the SCV. Barely not the Stalker. Oh, no, the Stalker. Stalker takes a lot of damage, a lot of hits. The bunker will finish. And with that, we can just dive into the bunker. We can focus on the pylon. We can take over control of the natural and contain for as long as possible. Meanwhile, here comes that factory back at home. Oh, SCV went down. SCV did fall. Takes down the pylon. And with this, ByuN, he's containing the Protoss on one base. Containing Clem here on one base. ByuN back at home with that factory. Should be going for a Cyclone follow-up. He's getting there. Oh. Nice target firing. Stalker's getting low. Remember, there's no SCV, so there's no repair. Bunker will go down. Gets a Stalker. That should not have happened. Gets Stalker, gets a probe. And with that, Clem, he breaks down. Clem, he breaks out. He finally expands. And back at home, ByuN, he needs that Cyclone. Getting a safety bunker. Clem counterattacks. Still very tense. It's a really weird game state because on the one hand, ByuN, sure, he delayed the natural, but he also delayed his own natural, right? His own CC's also delayed. As Clem is trying to race back. Still needs a little bit more time. Bunker is done. SCV will repair. Does repair, ByuN does hold, and the game will continue from here. Whew, okay, the game does continue. Clem taking up, getting into a Twilight Council, working towards, I would imagine, Blink. Meanwhile, ByuN likewise getting into zone bio play. The Cyclone does pop out and does get one of the Stalkers. Gets one. Oof. ByuN is punished. But again, it is a bit of a rocky start. It's a shaky game, but shaky game. We'll see what Clem's follow-up is going to be. So far, he's got 2 gate blink. We should be seeing a 3rd gateway just to be safe. We'll see if Clem cuts corners. Again, it's still kind of a weird setup that we have. Guys, ByuN working towards Stim. Stim, combat shields +1. The early eBay and early +1 tells us that we might actually see another set of Raxes. Do we throw down a 4th and 5th Rax? If so, then ByuN can turn this into a 2-base all-in. And Clem doesn't get a 3rd gateway. Uh-oh. Okay. There it is. Third gateway is now on the way. ByuN, what do you have for us? What do you got? The problem with going for a 2-base all in here is it is Tokamak. Tokamak is a larger map, longer rush distance by ground. So it's not going to hit as hard. Knocking down those rocks. Looking at ByuN. Remember, there's no splash damage. Does he send it, Pappy? Oh, snipes the Observer. Observer goes down. Tanks the siege. Very nice punish. Massive volley goes off. ByuN, he has momentum. Do we send it? Gets on the depot. I'm waiting to see if he pulls the boys. That's what I'm waiting for. Let's go. Yeah, it does pull the boys. He's going for the 2-base all in. Again, ByuN, he already has momentum. He did catch some stalkers. Now is the time. Charge is not ready. No charge, no splash damage, no storm, no colossus. Because of the shaky start to the game, because of the more awkward beginning, Clem is not ready. He's not set up. And things are looking up here for ByuN. If he can get on top of the production, if he can get into the natural with his tanks. There are some force fields. Stalker goes down. Nice force fields though. Zoning back the tanks. Tanks is zoned away. A lot of Marines go down. Stalker's trying to catch reinforcements. They get behind the army. How about the tanks they are sieging? They're a little bit far back. Yeah, tanks have to push forward. Deep hammering the gateway, getting on top of the natural. Ooh, one tank goes down. But ByuN, I feel like he should have it here. As he's getting on top of the mineral line. Charge is complete. Clem, he's got to commit. He's got to go for it. Gets one tank. He gets one. Can he get two? He can. Barely not. Barely not. GG gets called. And ByuN, he snowballs out of control. He takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very strong 2-base all in here from ByuN after the awkward start. Remember, Clem's opener was very, very delayed. His natural was delayed. His tech was delayed. It looked like he was going 2-gate blink into a 3rd base, but then he got a later 3rd gateway. He was trying to tech up on 2 bases, and it was just a really, really shaky start from both players, to be fair. But ByuN, he was able to pop off with his all in. Not just that, but he was able to catch stalkers early on. More importantly, he caught the Observer early on as well. He sniped the Observer. He caught a couple of stalkers. It meant that Clem wasn't fully aware as to what was going on. And GG. GG, well played. Whew. Very tense game 1. Very tense. ByuN takes a lead, and we'll see if ByuN can close it out here and now. We'll see if Clem can force the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Getting into that second game. Ooh, game 2 is going to be on torches. We have seen torches quite a lot tonight. We've seen it quite a lot in Shin's matches and now in this series as well. A lot of torches. I'm here for it. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of torches, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. We have the French Protoss representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, we'll see if he bounce back. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shellfire Rebellion. It is ByuN. See in chat, strong timing. I do want to make sure it's emphasized here that it was more so about the setup to the all-in than the all-in itself. That timing would be weaker in a standard game, but because everything was late, like late natural, late tech, late gateways, like because the early game, because the early proxy, that was all set up for the all-in to succeed. There was a lot of setup for that, and yeah, worked out quite well. Did work out quite well there for ByuN. As he comes in with the attempted eBay block, but Clem, he is scouting, he's on top of this, and the eBay block is going to be unsuccessful. So nice scouting here by Clem, nice positioning. Clem will force a cancel, and Clem can expand. So ByuN, he was hoping to be cheeky, he was hoping to get a little bit more damage here. For those that are curious, if there was no probe on the low ground, then this... Ooh, there's a cancel, thankfully in time. But the eBay would have had more progression, and Clem would have been forced to expand at the third location instead. And especially on torches, that's a death sentence. It is so difficult on this map to defend the unnatural natural because of the terrain. But thankfully, Clemmy sets up at his natural, and ByuN back at home goes for the factory before CC. Okay, here we go. So we are settling in. From here, looks like CC on the high ground. And welcome on to Torches. Torches is a unique map in the map pool that has a very short rush distance by air. Because of that, there was a time in the meta where we would often see Stargate openers and Oracle Phoenix play to try to hard counter and shut down Banshee base play. So there was a period in time where Banshees were really popular because that Phoenixes were quite popular, and then we kind of switched out of that phase and the Phoenixes were being punished by 2 base all-ins. Oh. Speaking of 2 base all-ins, that is a second Rax. Jesus, okay. ByuN rushing into a second Rax, hiding behind the army as well. Yeah, he's coming in from behind, catching out the Stalker. Nice positioning here from ByuN, and he steps in. And can he catch the Stalker? The Stalker will barely get away. Does take a lot of hull damage, but does escape. Nice positioning there by ByuN. But once again, with that second Rax before Starport, this is going to be for faster stim, heavy bioproduction, most likely a third Rax before Starport as well. If we get a third Rax, that is more indicative of a 2 base all-in, as we are going to be delaying medevacs in favor of a heavy marine count. Oh boy, with tanks of course as well. Typically this does hit with like, I want to say 3 tanks. Does it with 3. So as you can see, Tech Lab is on the way on the Rax. There's the fast eBay for +1, so this will hit with stim, combat shields, and +1. We're waiting for the third Rax. And we'll see if Clem can scout. We'll see if he can figure out what's going on. Right now, the onus, the pressure is on Clem. Behind this, Clem is playing safe. He's going 3-gate blink. So 3-gate blink Stalker. This time, I will say that Clem is a lot more comfortable. This time he's able to actually get into his build, get into his game. There's no crazy disruption and no crazy proxy at the start. There's that third Rax. Again, big delay in the starport. And Clem still doesn't know what's going on. He did see the second Rax though. Okay. So he has an idea. He saw the second Rax. That is a sign, that is a tell. Technically, this could be a 2-on-1 setup, like from what Clem has seen. We know it isn't, but it's not unheard of to go for 2-on-1s in TVP. It's a niche build, but might be on the back of his mind. Observer's moving out. The Observer will confirm, as Clem opted not to open sentry, so no hallucinations. Observer's moving out. Clem, he does take his gases on 2 bases, going for a 4th gateway. He's staying on 2. He's staying on 2 bases. Big delay on the 3rd. Takes his gases. Immortal production, 4th gateway. This is a very safe play out of Clem. As the Observer, what do we see? Gets eyes on the tank line. Rallied into the main base. Does ByuN notice in time to scan? Oh my god, ByuN's crazy. As soon as he saw the shimmer, ByuN, calm down. Scan is denied. Sorry, the scout is denied. Jesus. ByuN. So Clem still has no idea. He still has no idea. But he does see the heavy bio marine count alongside the tanks. We can see that there is a starport alongside this, which is not normal. Because there's a starport, there's a higher chance that maybe ByuN does get a 3rd CC behind this instead of 2 more Raxes. He's waiting for medevacs, so he's going for a later timing. The all-in variation of this, you pull the boys without medevacs. You just pull the boys, you move out with 3 tanks. Here it's only 2 tanks and it gets out of tank production, so there's a higher chance here that we do expand. Clem sees the move out, but again, Clem, he doesn't see the follow-up. Like, he sees nothing. So ByuN is posturing, and he's forcing this reaction. We have Storm on the way. Remember, Clem, he delayed his third. He delayed his third base. Clem, he's ready for a 2-base all-in. An all-in that isn't coming. There's a third CC. Clem, he sees. Okay, Clem, he scouts at third base. Now he knows. ByuN, he missed the observer. And remember, ByuN, he's posturing. Like, that's what this is. He's just posturing. He's just puffing up his chest. ByuN is macroing behind this. And, oh, he doesn't spot the observer. Or does he? Yeah, he does. Does bring it down, but Clem now has a massive army. Storm is ready. And Clem is here to punish. Oh, no. Massive storms. He stands in the storms, and Clem, he should overwhelm. GG gets called. Clem, he ties up the series. We're going to the ace match. GG. Whew, GG, well played. If only ByuN saw the observer a little bit earlier. If he was able to deny the scout and deny Clem's vision of the third base, that would have changed everything. Remember, Clem, he was getting ready for an all-in. Then he realized an all-in wasn't coming, which means he could push, out, and he had a massive army. He had storms, he had immortals. ByuN was hoping that he could fake Clem out, so he could fake him out, make it look like he was going for an all-in when he was really expanding instead, but he got scattered. In the end, he got scattered by the second observer. GG. GG, well played. Cheeky move out of ByuN, didn't get away with it, and now we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. Getting into game 3. And we'll see how this story ends. We'll see how this story ends. I see in the chat, watch yourselves. Don't be clowns, Byron. Don't be clowns. I think there are some people that maybe aren't aware about Clem's level of play with Protoss. I think there are some people that maybe have like an idea that maybe like he off races like for fun or something. Clem has been playing at the highest level of Protoss for quite some time now. When it comes to specifically PvT, you could make an argument that Clem has the best PvT in the world. You can make an argument for it, but I think you can make an easier claim that he's like top 3 PvT in the world. It's actually terrifying. Clem, there isn't a single Terran player out there that he hasn't beaten except for Maru. Maru is the only Terran that Clem hasn't beaten, like in these tournaments, and the only reason for that is because they never played. Like they've never played. Unfortunately, I would love to see them face off, but I think Maru is the only player, the only Terran that Clem hasn't beaten in the series. And here we go. Here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the French Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. Forcing the ace match, bringing us all the way to game 3. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran himself representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Go. As ByuN once again is going to be opening up 2 racks. This might be the same build, going 2 racks. Okay, this time going 2 racks Reaper, not 2 racks Marine. With this, his goal here should be for some economic damage. It comes down to the control of Clem to preserve his workers, to preserve his birds. Makes sense for Clem to switch. I see in the YouTube chat, if you're unaware, the reason why Clem switched is because he could not deal with TVT. he unfortunately got bullied out of TVT by ryung. This was back in December. ryung, he was known as the Clem Crusher in TVT. I mean, ryung, he has arguably the best TVT in the world. Like he's an animal in Terran versus Terran. But the reason why Clem switched to Protoss was to avoid the TVT matchup, as that was his weakest matchup for a long time. So how do you deal with TVT? Just avoid it. just get the hell out of there. I know that some people like to push their own narrative. They like to invent themselves. But that narrative is not based in reality. So now we do see ByuN dancing with the army. Does pick in, does pull away. As from here, this was a bit of a shaky start here for ByuN. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted. Winding it back, the Proxy Direct Reaper didn't really accomplish much here. He was hoping for economic damage, but he gets shut down. He gets forced back. Clem, he did play it safe by going for the early Zealot to be able to tank, to be able to buy time and preserve his mineral line. So far, a solid response here by Clem. He defends well. He defends well. The Reapers, they will bypass the main army. Bold move. ByuN rushing across the map. Getting into the mineral line. Gets 1, 2 probe kills. It's okay damage, but it's 2 for 2. Yeah, not ideal. As ByuN gets a full scout, does confirm blink. Oh. Does confirm, gets cleaned up, and behind this, ByuN now trying to expand. Does have a 2-1-1 setup here, but again, it's been a bit of a shakier start for ByuN. We'll see if he can recover. He has opportunities here with the Liberator follow-up, not going Banshee, going Liberator. Trying to catch out some key units. Ooh, does get the Adept. Gets the Adept, but late reaction to the Cyclone. No, Cyclone goes down. That should not have happened. Yeah, ByuN otherwise distracted, and with that, Clemmy's rallying in. He's rallying forward. Takes over the natural. Disastrous start here for ByuN. And ByuN is moving out to harass. Tank will siege, but Clem, he can just avoid the tank. Yeah, just avoids. Heads behind the mineral line and will deny the natural. So again, just a very shaky early game here for ByuN. As that CC takes a lot of damage. Liberator does siege up across the map. Denies some mining. Kills a probe. But Clemmy's not backing off. And remember, there's no bunker here either. No safety bunker. Clemmy can blink away. Oh. Doesn't lose any stalkers. Gets 2 more SCVs. Denies more mining time. And Clemmy's all over this. Oh, what a mass. 1 more shot. As from here, Clem, he could expand. He's still playing very safe. Very safe. He's taking his gases on 2 bases. He's building up his immortal count as well. Clem, if you want to, could have expanded faster, but he's staying on 2 bases that much longer. This tells me that if ByuN goes for a 2-base all-in, it's going to be weaker. As Clem is already building up his immortals. And Clem, he already has the Temple Archives on the way. That's going to be for Storm. Okay, and ByuN, no, he just can't get out. He cannot get out. Full medevac goes down as well. Ay, ay, ay. Again, ByuN, he took a chance, he took a risk by going for the proxy, and everything's just been downhill from there. Does catch the Observer at least. But ByuN is contained. From here, all Clem has to do is just expand, get a 3rd base, keep an eye on any kind of move outs. If he does spot it, then of course reinforce. Slow the army down and get ready for the push at the natural. As Clem, he doesn't get the tank. Tank does survive. ByuN, he'll expand, getting his 3rd TC. At least he's trying to. Oh. Clem pulling away. Let's pull back, pulls away. And now the momentum can swing here as we can make use of the healing pad as well. But with Storm finishing, Clem can now be the aggressor. For now, he's just been containing his opponent. By no means has Clem had any intention of actually pushing into the natural or into the main base. That will soon change with Storm finishing with this army. So Clem can now move out. This is actually very similar to game number 2, to Game Torn Torches, where Clem, he was getting ready for an all-in that never came, which means, hey, suddenly I have all this army, may as well make use of it. Nice repair on the tanks. We'll see if ByuN can hold. Server moves in. Spots the tank line. Deepers are on the way. Storms are coming forward. Can we get on top of the tanks? Does begin. Nice spread, but the tanks are going to go down. Yeah, brutal volleys here. Tanks do fall, the Bio Army crumbles, and with that, GG gets called. Clemmy crushes through, and Clem will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played, Clem. He does claim the series, he does advance on, and with that, we have our first finalist. Again, it was just a really shaky start from ByuN when it came to the early game. Going for the proxy 2-Rax Reaper was not worth it. He did fall behind early on, and he stayed behind, as we saw Clem delaying the CC, poking and pressuring the natural base early on with his Stalkers. Of course, containing, staying on 2 bases to shut down an all-in, and we saw ByuN forced to go into a delayed 3rd base on location, tried to expand, but again, it was just a really rocky start there for ByuN. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem, we'll take it. Let's go. Let us go. And where is the rest of the bracket? Okay, we already have our finals. Up next is going to be a TVP between Clem and MaxPax. Let's go. As we're heading over to the European server, MaxPax did take down geralt 2-0. Did take him down 2-0, and with that we have our 2 finalists. We're heading over to the European server for some EU on EU action. Oh boy. A shout out to Geralt though. Even though Geralt did fall to MaxPax, he did so well for himself. Geralt to take down herO, to take down Showtime. Geralt, he had an amazing performance in this tournament. May have gone down to MaxPax, and MaxPax is the best Protoss in Europe, so there's no shame in going down to MaxPax, especially after defeating herO and Showtime. So well played to Geralt. GG, well played. Well done, Bappy, well done. As we're getting ready here. Getting ready for those finals. Beautiful. How about ryung versus Maru then? ryung versus Maru is always fire. If you remember, they did play, it was in Home Story Cup, I want to say. It was in Home Story Cup. I always remember ryung versus Maru on Ultra Love was crazy. That was crazy. But Vitas are underway. Vitas are underway. As a reminder, the finals are going to be a best of 5 grand finals here between Clem and MaxPax. They have been going more back and forth as of late, but I will say that Clem, he has been embracing a lot of mech. If you remember, we spoke about this during the previous TVP, during the previous matchup, but Clem, he has been playing a lot of mech as of late against Protoss. We saw that earlier today against Rebellion, where he did whip out mech in game 2. And we're expecting a lot of mech here against MaxPax as well. Oh boy. Now, because Clem has been playing mech so much as of late, we have seen players like herO, like Classic, and like MaxPax adapt to that as well over time. They've had better responses and better setups, and we're expecting MaxPax to already have some better adaptations against Clem at this point. That's kind of what we're expecting. We'll get into it. We'll get into it once we load into our series. Needed to all in to win. kind of. If you recall, we were trying to emphasize that Clem was getting ready for the all-in. Like, if you remember, Clem, he delayed his third base in Game 3, intentionally so, to build up his Immortals and Storm to get ready for an all-in. We were making reference to that on Persephone. That's my narrative I'm sticking to. You can live in a fantasy if you want. But his PvT is better than his TVT. It is, for sure. We all agree with that. But otherwise, oh, looks like Vitas are done. Vitas are done. We're jumping to Game 1. Game 1 is going to be on Ultra Love. Let's go. Let us go. And there's a lot to get into here. Ultra Love is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Because that aggression is typically favored, we'll see how Clem adjusts his mech coming into Ultra Love. I mentioned before that there is a style that does work quite well on these smaller maps where you kind of go into a more tank-heavy composition and then push out and break out. But I don't know if Clem is really one to embrace that. He might still just be one to just mass Cyclone and enjoy just massing Cyclone. I don't know if he's even one to do that on these smaller maps. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out together. Also, a shout to LiuLi as well. True. Also, a big shout to LiuLi. LiuLi, he is the main caster for this event. He's a Chinese caster, Chinese commentator, Chinese content creator. He used to run these invitational tournaments called LiuLi Cup, and now he has been running these LiuLi Cup weeklies as well. As a reminder, this all leads into a monthly final. So at the end of the month, the top players in these tournaments are going to be invited for this big invitational. We just hosted one last week, last week for the previous month, and we should be seeing another one on the horizon as well. So it's all leading up to the monthly finals. Let's go. And again, like, I haven't been able to see too much of MaxPax versus Clem over the past week, specifically to see how he does handle that mech style. So I'm really curious to see, like, again, what his response is, whether he does skip Storm, whether Clem does adjust as well, as the meta kind of like changes between the two players. Someone donated 2K. Yes. We got a big anonymous donation earlier in the broadcast. True. I didn't really get to delve too much into it, but we were asked about this beforehand, and we did agree that with that massive donation, we are going to be hosting a couple of tournaments soon to be announced, but that is what that's going to be spent on. So thank you so much to our anonymous donator for the 2,000 USD. Crazy. But that is going to be put to good use. We are going to be running some tournaments, and that is going to be, of course, providing the prize pool for that as well. Soon TM. There will be some announcements regarding that. We got you, man. We got you. Be a crazy donation, man. Crazy donation. Biggest one we've had on the channel. Biggest one. But here we go. We are getting into the grand finals, los grand finales, as spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. As we are going to be moving out to early SCV across the map, we're going to be avoiding the main scouting pattern, and the goal here should be to slip into the natural and to throw down the eBay. So we're setting up for the block. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're still on patrol. And we're going 2 racks. 2 racks Reaper. We're not going for the EVA block. With 2 racks Reaper, we can still set up a bunker alongside this. This is not as committed as ByuN's build. Remember, ByuN went for something similar last game. Last game against Clem, ByuN went 2 racks Reaper, proxied both racks. Here, this is less committed. Only 1 racks is across the map. The other racks is back at home. So this is nowhere near as committed, nowhere near as invested. Designed to get some damage done. Oh, my apologies. You have my attention. We have a Marine first back at home. Does open up Marine. Are we going for the add-on? We are. We're going for the proxy Marauder. Let's go. The Marine not being a Reaper here was a tell that we weren't going proxy 2 racks Reaper. We're going instead proxy Marauder. Okay. Let's go. It's been a while. It has been a while here. With these Marauders, we can, of course, break the natural base and break the shield battery. There's a lot of potential with this if it goes unscattered, and so far, MaxPax, he hasn't really seen anything to tip him off. Nothing yet. So, cheeky build here by Clem. Very cheeky. Marauders are amassing. Yes, anonymous, anonymous. Crazy, crazy. As again, no safety shield battery, no setup. This is catching MaxPax off guard. Yeah, boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled. So far, it does quite well. Oof. So far, losing 1 Marine. 1 Marine goes down. Shield battery's on the way. Clem, can he get on top of that sentry? Can he get on top of the Stalker? Again, we're still pulling more boys. MaxPax is buffering well. But there's still 3 Marauders left over. Does go for the Stalker. Up! Stalker barely goes down, but it looks like the shield battery is done, and MaxPax is holding on. That still does cost him 11 probes. 11 workers did 4. That's a lot of economic damage. Despite that, Clem is still down in workers, as this is quite committed. And Clem, he doesn't break through. He does not break MaxPax. He even got a safety second pylon. MaxPax holds. MaxPax, he does hold on. Doesn't want to get caught by the force field. Gets a Stalker. Gets a Stalker. We're following up with another Rax, actually. Okay, so we have a 3-rack setup. We're committing quite hard. We're going for a 3-rack stim timing here. Stim is on the way. Marines are going to be amassing. And I do appreciate that Clem pulls back. He doesn't force the... Oh, I was going to say he doesn't force the issue. So he does preserve most of his Marauders. Most of them. Can he save Stim? Uh-oh. Stim is going to be targeted, and Stim is not going to finish. Oh, or will it? And Marauders, they dive in. They're forced to trade. Every Marauder is going to go down. Down to 1. Yeah, down to 1. Soon to be down to 0. And Stim will not be saved. Brutal loss here for Clem. He threw away his army to save Stim, and he failed to do so. Stim wasn't saved. Marauders get thrown away. And suddenly, that Stim timing isn't there. It's not there anymore. MaxPax expands. And from here, MaxPax, he can run away with it. Takes the lead, gains map control. And Clem is in a rough position here. Again, he's stuck at home until Stim finishes. Until Stim is done. He has no tank production because of the 3-axe, which also means that if MaxPax gets high ground vision, he can just blink into the main. He can just go for the main base. He could even deny Stim for a second time. Yeah, speaking of high ground vision, he has it. Does push into the natural instead. True. He does rotate. Clem trying to keep up. This time, though, there's no bunker in the main. Blinks in. Thankfully, Marauders are keeping up. Gets one, gets two Stalkers, and Clem holds. It's still quite close. As we have more reinforcing Stalkers. Breaks through all the Marines, getting on top of the Marauders as well. But Clem, he will hold, he will defend, he will save Stim. Whew, okay. Stim is going to be saved. Oh, nice juggling with the SCVs. Very nice control out of Clem. Controls well. Controls well. He defends. Third CC is on the way. Clem is expanding. If he wants to go for a two-base all-in earlier, he has missed that timing. So we'll expand. Uh-oh. Clem moves out. As he moves out, there's not much, there's nothing in her, there's nothing here. There's one Marauder and two Marines. Second Marauder pops out. Oh boy. MaxPax back at home. Likewise, he has nothing to defend. There's the recall. Recall's back home. Probe's gonna be going down. Nice drop here by Clem. It's worth it. Gets 12, 13 probe kills. 13 workers go down. And even snipes the tech structures, going for the Temple Archives. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Doesn't get the Archives. MaxPax will hold. Oh, takes down the full medevac. Oh, God. Initially, it was solid damage, but Clem did lose everything there. That was a hefty blow. We're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. So with that, MaxPax still has a worker lead. Once again, going for the counterattack. Back at home, there are Marauders to defend, so Clem, he's secure on two bases, but it's all about expanding and getting the third. Can he get his third base up and running? Can he expand? It's MaxPax getting into Storm. Storm is on the way. Oh. Go the retard. Let's go. The retargeting. Este Clem. Okay, reacting so fast. As Clem moves out with the drop. Ooh, we'll bleed out the medevac though. Nice pick off at a MaxPax. Here he backs off. Likewise, Mind Drop does catch a couple of workers. That's 3 probes going down. The MaxPax, he defends, getting his 4th base. Still a very shaky mid game that we're getting into, but here come the storms. And storms are coming out. No ghost yet for Clem. The first ghost is on the way. But we've seen this before. As the MaxPax starts pushing, Clem is going for a counterattack. And Clem, can he buy time, or do we go for a pseudo base trade? Yeah, MaxPax is moving in. Let's go. Mind shot's going up. Oof, brutal connections. Takes out most of the Zealots, but the 3rd CC is going to be forfeit. Here come the storms. Yeah, it does storm the tail end of the army. Still 2 Templar left. Force to morph in the Archon. There was another storm there, though. Wasn't able to spend it. Clem pushing in, still going for the base trade. Clem, he defends back at home. He pushes. Oh, it doesn't quite push into the natural. MaxPax trying to keep up. No anti-air. No stalkers. Clem just being so annoying. Joining back and forth. And Clem, he does gain momentum. Remember, he denied the 4th. Denied the 4th base. Taking his 3rd. MaxPax's 4th base is incredibly late. And Clem does take that supply lead. Remember, the Protoss wants to be up a base compared to the Terran. And that's just not happening. Oh, nice catch. As Clem takes out the Prism. Prism goes down, Zealots as well. And And with this rotation, Clem, the win condition here, deny the fourth. Deny the fourth base over and over again. That's all that Clem needs to do. Zealot Runby does get across the map. And Temple moving in. Does end the storm. But there's a cancel. And Clem can just back off. He can just back off from here. He defends back at home. Doesn't really lose much. And Clem, he's just snowballing out of control. MaxPax, he cannot keep up. Not without a fourth base. He needs the fourth. He needs it. Oh. Let's catch a ghost. Dropping into the main. Yeah, drops in. Again, MaxPax just cannot keep up. He doesn't have the supply for it. We'll lose the tech. Templar Archives, Forge, +2 is denied. And we just pick up. We just pick up a pull away. Oh, does leave a couple of ghosts behind. But overall, still worth it here for Clem. Oh god, does take a storm to the face. Storms are connecting, but he just wants the expansion. And once again, for the third time, he denies the fourth. That's a kill, not a cancel. MaxPax, he can never expand. Not like this. He just wants a base back. Just wants a fourth. And Clem is about to max. He's about to max out. True, I was so caught up in the game itself, I didn't even get to point out. I mean, it was a 2-rax opener, true. But I appreciate it. No mech. Yeah, I did. I was so engrossed in the game, I didn't even notice. But yeah. We did have the bio follow-up. No, Clem is showing us he can play some StarCraft. Ah, let's go. He scans just to confirm. He confirms there's no base bottom right. Clem just ensuring he stays ahead. Now, there's a chance here that he can take a storm to the face. So there are 5 High Templars. So if he trades too poorly here, like MaxPax can try to take a fight. Storms like raise the army. There's more storms on top of the ramp. Oof. And remember, Clem, he does not have to push up. He does not have to push up the ramp. Just hit the fourth. Just keep going. Keep denying the fourth base. And now he's simming in. Now he's simming forward. 0 storms remaining. There's 1 Templar left. Templar here on the right hand side. Another Templar's morphing in. EMP lands. EMPs are landing. Storms are denied, and GG gets called. Clem, he snowballs out of control, and Clem takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Clem does take a lead in the series, and with that, again, a very intense and back and forth game 1 here. It all began with a proxy 2-rax, sorry, I should say with 1-rax at home, 1-rax proxied into proxy Marauder. Was able to trade quite well. Remember, I think it was 11 to 12 probes went down at the start of the game, but then we had a shaky follow where Stim was denied, Stalkers were blinking to the bases. We could have seen maybe a little bit more damage being dealt there, but we had like that back and forth. Eventually, Clem, he was able to recover, able to bounce back with his drop play, with his counter attacks. It was still very back and forth, but in the end, Clem, he barely clutched it out. Once he denied the fourth base for the first time, he just ensured that the fourth base never did finish. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem takes the lead, and now we're jumping to game number 2. We're jumping to game 2, loading into ley lines. Here we go. But again, we had some really impressive counterattacks and drop play out of Clem. Getting into mineral lands, denying bases. Things got very chaotic. Got very chaotic. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner here of Leylands. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, leading the series 1-0, representing Team Liquid from land of France, it is Clem. We go. Again, the event itself has been running by quite quickly. We're actually sub 3 hours so far when it comes to the broadcast, but it's a best of 5, and hey, I'm hoping we can go the distance, hoping we can go all the way here and have that back and forth. As once again, we do see the SCV moving out. This time the SCV is rallied into the natural, so this time we are going for the eBay block. MaxPax, he's scouting, he's checking, and it looks like he will find the SCV. There we go, big scout here from MaxPax. He denies the eBay, he denies the block, and MaxPax can now safely expand. So a nice start here by MaxPax, a solid read. Clem has to get the hell out of here, has to pull away. From here, Clem just going for the rack to expand. Economic opener out of Clem. From here, we're settling in. Now, I should wind it back here. When it comes to the start of the series, we spoke about how Clem has been playing a lot of mechas of late. I glossed over it in the first game, but it did make sense because of the 2 racks opener, but Clem did not mech it up in game 1. I'm still expecting mech at some point in this series, but suddenly, you know, now we have more possibilities. Now things open up after the first game, where Clem doesn't have to exclusively play mech, he can embrace some bio play as well, and of course can excel with it. That's what I'm looking forward to, but we'll see. We'll see if he devolves back into mech again. Oh, no. Ah. As we do have our Twilight Council opener out of MaxPax. Back at home, Clem should be going for his 1-1-1 follow-up. Tech Lab on the racks. Okay, going for the add-on swap. I was curious if we would keep it on the racks for Concussive Shell, but is opening up Cyclone. So standard follow-up here by Clem. The Cyclone will keep the CC safe. Does get the safety bunker as well. So Clem will hold. Clem, he will hold, he will defend. As MaxPax, okay, decides to cut some corners here. You don't often see this. It was an economic opener out of Clem, and MaxPax is a rare sight. It does go 2-gate blink into a faster third. Okay. We have some metagaming going on here. So what it means to metagame, the meta does kind of dictate a certain kind of play style and a certain path, but you can kind of use that against your opponent. As Clem, he will scout immediately. Nice scout here by Clem. Now, when it comes to the meta here, it is very common to go for a delayed third currently in TVP. It's very, very common to delay your third base. As a result, because of how common 2-base all-ins have been, here MaxPax in a way does call Clem's bluff, does go for a very greedy follow-up, and now it's going to be on Clem to attempt to punish that greed or try to meet that greed. Third CC. Okay, third CC is on the way for Clem. MaxPax, he did not confirm this, but Clem is going for an economic follow-up as well, so we're building up into the mid-game. Let's go. And Hallucination will confirm. So MaxPax is aware. Does spot the faster third CC. Of Hyperlight Rotors, there's a high chance we're going to throw down some factories. Yeah, high chance here. This does scream the typical build that Clem goes for is 3 CC into 3 factory setup. We'll see if that leads to be true here. As this build looks very familiar. Very familiar. It looks, yep, there it is. There's the second, and we're waiting for a third factory as well. So again, the build looks very familiar. We've seen this before. We're going 3 CC into 3 factory. What do I jump across the map? So Clem, he is going into what he does best currently in current meta is mech. Now, I do really like MaxPax's position because he does have the faster third. He's going to have a boosted economy. MaxPax, he saw the initial opener. Is he familiar enough with Clem to also recognize the setup for mech? Forge on the way, getting to +1. Gateway explosion, so far so good. So third base is on the way. We have Macville accelerators getting into battle mech. MaxPax, he's a little bit on autopilot. Going into Storm. That is a bit of a concern. It also tells us that I don't think MaxPax is fully aware of what's happening. Will poke away at the Marines. He's trading well. Picks up some of the bio. Banshees are counterattacking. And MaxPax tells he hallucinated into the main. Gets behind the mineral line. Oh, blinks in. Going for the tank. He will get it. Yeah, tank goes down. Nice pickup. And the battle mech is revealed. Oh, blinking forward gets punished for the blink. And MaxPax has to back off. At the same time, Banshees, they do get across about 2 Banshees. They can one-shot probes. They will. Probes are going down, but MaxPax, he wants the CC. He shouldn't get it, though. And now going for the workers. Back at home, Stalkers do defend. Storm has begun. Yeah, he sees the high alien count. He is fully aware it is mech. And MaxPax still just rallying. He wants to break this threat. He's so close to doing so. Eyes closed, but Banshees, they race back home. Does pull away with the Observer. Nice save. The scan was meant to kill the Observer. Failed to do so. Observer did survive. Zealots, they do come in from behind Stalker as well. Gets a tank. Gets one of the tanks, goes back into the mineral line, and you can see Clem is just being torn apart here. Just hyper aggression out of MaxPax. Likewise, nice force field. Zealots are still trading in the main base, getting 11 SCVs. Stalkers are go back in. Observer finally gets caught, and Clem does hold. But sustained a lot of losses. Losing tanks, SCVs, some of the Banshees. But Clem, he does save the third base, and now he's got his fourth. Fourth is on the way. He's been muling. Remember, Clem, he had a faster third CC to begin with, so he had a boosted economy. And despite losing all those workers, Clem is still up in workers, still up in SCVs. Clem is building up his mech. Race him into the main. As Clem moves out, so we can see MaxPax going for a warp into the main base and a Zellarame to the third. Can he pull Clem apart? Oh, Prism goes down. Prism goes down. There's one Banshee to defend at the third base. Storms, they do connect. They soften up the Cyclones. More Storms coming in. Cyclones, they do stand in the Storms. Yeah, Clem is trying to brute force the issue. He's trying to, but that's going to be 15 dead SCVs. So many workers going to be falling. And he just doesn't have the Cyclone count. Nice juggling, but he's down to 2 Cyclones. Yeah, the Cyclones just are not there. MaxPax defends. He defends, and he crippled the economy. MaxPax is all over this. Clem, that economic lead that he once had, it's not there. Not anymore. Not in the same way. Likewise, he lost a lot of Cyclones. That does slow him down. As mech is very momentum based, and MaxPax is able to buy enough time to get his fourth. His fourth is getting fully operational. Oh. Going for the Hellbat drop. Love to see it. They try to waddle in. They can't quite make it. More Hellbat drops on the way. Let's go. Oh. Both players taking losses. Prism goes down. Nice done by Clem. Does take a storm to the face. As Cyclones are getting caught out. And late reaction out of Clem. He does save the Cyclones. One does fall. But the others are getting lock-ons. And this time there's no storm. As they're coming from behind at the same time. So far MaxPax trading well with his Gateway army. Again, mainly losing Zealots. And this is what MaxPax has to rely upon. His Gateway army, his Zealots, his Stalkers. To dive on top of those Cyclones whenever he can. Speaking of... Oh! Does avoid those lock-ons. Let's pull away. The Hellbat count is looking a little bit low. That is a concern. As probes are still going down. Speaking of, where are those Zealots, by the way? No War Prism. No War Prism, no reinforcements. The Storm mainly zones. And the boys are being pulled. Lock-ons are connecting. That's a lot of Stalkers going down. And Clem, he might just have too much here. Yeah, lock-ons are brutal. Takes down all the Immortals. Gets on top of the Stalkers again. Where were the Zealots? The Zealots weren't here. Clem, he takes the fight. We need a more charge thus back. Oh, as Stalkers, they can't escape the lock-ons. Yeah, brutal losses from MaxPax. Clem, he's snowballing out of control. He did lose 17 SCVs. True, did lose a lot of workers there. But he does maintain a higher Cyclone count. He's on 8. Still building up more. He rotates, does find a Nexus. Nexus should go down. Hellions, they distract. And the base falls. Okay, nice pick off. Clem is still just committed to pure battle mech. More Hellions, more Cyclones. This time MaxPax does have some charge lots, thankfully, and some storms to support. Timing on the planetary. Yeah, repairs are not in time. Storms, they do connect with the Medivacs as well. Jesus. Okay, brutal storm. Storms, they connect well. Nice split set with the Cyclones. As we're going to be down to 2 storms. They'll say catch reinforcements. Still have this back and forth trade. Oh, as this time Clem is in position. Yeah, he's in position at the planetary. Clem, he will hold. MaxPax double expanding, getting a little bit desperate. But he does need a base. That expansion gets him to the high grounds. Voice one of the storms. There's what, 2 storms left? Soon to be 3. Locals a breakthrough of the Zealots. This is one of the big reasons why I'm so concerned about the lack of War Prism, is whenever the Zealots go down, it's so important to reinforce with more Zealots to just tank those lock-ons. Without them, these have been some expensive trades for MaxPax. Does get himself the planetary. Planetary goes down, but this is what we spoke about. The lock-ons, they punish the Stalkers. They punish everything. These are expensive units. Yeah, the Immortal, the High Templar, the Archon. Ay. Very expensive losses there for MaxPax. Remember, his economy isn't ideal. We get an OK storm, but we're running out of storms. Another base goes down, and Clem, he's done it. At this point, Clem has done it. These trades have just been too poor for MaxPax. Hellbat's dropping in. From here, Clem can just rotate towards the low ground. Is he aware of the base? He is. Here's aware of the expansion. From here, he can push forward. Oh, we have 2 storms. And those are the final storms. Tempo morphing in. The Cyclone count isn't quite there, but that's going to be 16 probe kills. Once again, brutal economic damage. No, yes. And Stalkers, they cannot fight head on like this. Not like this. There's one storm. Oh god. Jesus, the lock-ons are so long. The Cyclone lock-ons are so brutal here. Oh god. He blinks away and he's still within range of the lock-ons. That's how brutal that is. And again, it's why it's so crucial that you have a different unit to tank that lock-on. There's the scan. There are a couple of storms. Let's go 2 Templar with the main army. 2 Templar. Hellbat drop into the natural. We'll distract. Let's chase into a storm. There's still another storm available. Oh god, the lock-ons do punish though. Oh no, High Templar goes down. Jump into the main. And again, MaxPax is doing everything he can, just keep his head above water. He does hold on to the center expansion, true. I thought this was going to be broken earlier, but he holds on to it. So MaxPax, he's able to sustain his army. Likewise, Clem also she should get another expansion as well. The base count is still very low for both players. And we might just come into a base trade here. MaxPax pulls away. He pulls away. Nexus is going to go down. Mineral land as well. Okay, we are trading. No planetary. And we're getting messy. We're getting messy, bad. We're getting messy here as that's going to be 26 probe kills going down. 26 workers. Zelsa's still just popping off. Still catching more SCVs. That's a kill, not a cancel. Gets another Nexus. Keep saying planetary. Gets another Nexus. Stalker's cashing out the Cyclones. Very nice. That's what, 3-4 Cyclones going down. The Zealots, they kill the CC. That should not have happened. Yeah, Clem, he was inattentive, did not lift. That wasn't a planetary. He could have. CC goes down. Ay, ay, ay. That means less mules as well. MaxPax, has he done it? Has he done it, back? Again, Clem, he was trading very well for the most part, but his bases, like, he wasn't expanding, wasn't getting more CCs. Both players are broke. But MaxPax still has mining, which is more than I can say for Clem. Clem, he's got some saturation. He's got a couple of patches at his third. Okay, main base does float over. Oh. I'm trying to boost in. This could still go either way, but I lean towards MaxPax here. Just because of the size of his army and because of his income. Clem, he needs time for this base to really kick in. Oh. It's a couple of probes. It's a couple of workers. GG gets called. Clem, he runs out of steam, and MaxPax, he will take a game number 2, tying things up 1-1. GG. Very intense, very messy game here from both players. We saw MaxPax taking some really rough trades. At the same time, Clem, after losing certain bases, he was not replenishing, he was not rebuilding those CCs, so his own economy was also very low, so it was very scrappy between Clem and MaxPax. In the end, MaxPax, he ended up coming out on top when it came to the quote-unquote base trade. Yes, we had Clem killing 2 Nexi, that's true, killed 2 bases, but he lost his most crucial mining expansion. We saw it was killed, not lifted. That was the moment when he lost the southern CC. He lost all the workers as well, and GG, well played. The attention wasn't quite there, and with that, MaxPax does fight back. Oh. Here we go. As we are getting to our next game. Looks like our players need a moment. Understandable. It was a very intense game. Very intense. So understandable that they do need a moment here to catch their breath. Understandable. Here we go. Game 2, I'm not too certain as to what the vetoes were, so I'm still a little bit in the dark as to that. So I do think that Clem had a little momentum with his mech. I would imagine that the next time that MaxPax does play against Clem's mech, he would probably approach it in a bit of a different way. Again, the pure Stalker style was quite costly. Did win in the end, but it's not easy, papi, not easy. Do you think it's viable to play more defensive as Protoss, securing more bases like cannons and batteries? More defensive as Protoss. Ooh, I would say no. Your implication there is allowing the Terran player to build and expand. Right now the meta and the way the TVP operates is not just that Protoss players typically gain map control, typically, not necessarily against Battle Mech like this. With Battle Mech, it's different. Clem, he's able to successfully kind of vie for map control, threaten bases, and apply a lot of pressure. If you're referring to, like, relinquishing map control from the side of Protoss, that sounds terrifying. I would not. I don't think that's the wisest choice. Typically, it's more important that the Protoss player stays on top of the bases of the Terran and denies expansions and stops the Terran from getting out of hand and getting out of control. It's not PVZ. PVZ is where Protoss can get away with just turtling up and getting into Sky Toss. Oh. As here we go. We're getting into our next game. But specifically against Battle Mech, I'm not too certain. Like, I think MaxPax had a decent idea. Like, I love that he was trading as often as he was. I just wasn't too fond of the idea that he had no reinforcement points for his army, and likewise he was maybe a little bit too heavily reliant on stalkers at certain points. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Liquid being forced into a tied series. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming, the Danish Protoss. It is MaxPax. But yeah, as Elmo is referring to, it's typically, like, it is pretty crucial that the Protoss player, like, makes the Terran player fight for their 4th and fight for their 5th base, and delays that and tries to get an economic lead behind it. relinquishing map control, it doesn't sound like it would end well in PvT. Would be ill-advised. For now, double gas. Double gas opener out of Clem. Double gas into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. Welcome to Pylon, by the way. True. Okay, we can focus on our games. Pylon is one of the smaller maps. The map pool aggression is favored here. I'm curious to see if Clem goes into mech, what style of mech he goes for. Again, because the map is so small, if you do gain momentum on Pylon, it can be very difficult to stop that. Like, we have seen games end very, very quickly with these move outs, with these pushes. This is also the map where I've made reference to it a couple of times, but Cure, he's very fond of going into a more tank heavy style of mech on Pylon, just because you can instead, as a Terran player, turtle up on 3 bases, build up your tank count, and then very quickly, once you have a large enough army, just push across the map. And it takes seconds to walk across, to siege up your army, and to wedge yourself in between the third and natural. Here on Pylon, it can be quite brutal. Can be very brutal, but I don't know if Clem is really one to play that style. I do know that Clem and Cure do play together, they do practice together. They've been vocal about that after Cure joined Team Liquid, but I don't know if they're similar when it comes to their mech styles. I guess we'll find out. Guess we will find out. As from here, we're going to be opening up with a Widow Mine Drop. Mine Drop on the way. Meanwhile, MaxPax opening up Twilight Council. Doesn't make things up. Doesn't make things up here. As Reaper's going to be trapped. They do get 3 probes, though. Not bad. 3 workers go down. Gets a full scout. Does confirm the tech. That Clem does confirm. Widow Mine Drop is scouted. MaxPax is aware. And we'll see if Clem goes into an Adult Soul from here. Likewise, we'll see if Clem goes for another fast third CC. If you remember, the tell was 3cc, not Cloak Banshee, but High Flight Rotors instead. There's the Adult Soul. Stalkers, they rush past the bunker. Remember, no Cyclone. Widow Mine instead. And that's going to be 2 SCV kills. Gets 2 SCVs. Oh, we'll catch out the Marine. Oh. As MaxPax is forced out. Behind this, not going into any upgrades. Going Raven. Does open a Raven tank. Okay, higher chance that we're going to go into a bio setup here from Clem. Have my attention. There we go. Second Rax is on the way. We are playing bio. Hallucination will confirm MaxPax sees no mech, not this time. Also confirms that's a Rax after the starport. So we're getting to a standard 3-1-1 setup. Oh, Widow Mine Drop does come in. Shouldn't get much done. Gets a Sentry and 2 probes. Okay, not bad. Sentry 2 workers, scouts a third base. Behind this, how many gateways? 2 gate blink into a third. Once again, greedy build out of MaxPax. And he will get away with it. So cheeky moves. We've seen MaxPax twice now this series go into this faster third. Has gotten away with it. Now going to charge, eventually taking up into splash damage. We'll see whether it's going to be Colossus or Storm. Shall see Hallucination checking for extra Raxes. Does see +1. +1 is on the way. If we see 2 more Raxes, it'll be more indicative of a 2 base all in. Likewise, MaxPax also looking for a third CC. there it is. Third CC is on the way. So Clem is building up into the mid game. And MaxPax has yet to fully confirm. Nice harass. Gets 3 probes, okay. 3 probes go down. Late reaction out of MaxPax. Nicely done by Clem. Clem does slip in. Remember, there is no stim, not yet. So he doesn't really get much done here. Oh, gets 2 probes. Picks up 2. Nice target firing. Gets up to 8. 9 probe kills as we do pop off in the main. 9 workers go down. Shout out to the Raven. As a barely gets away. Very close. 8 HP. Get out of here. Oh no! MaxPax is hunting him down. And Clemmy should barely get away. Does boost. No! Boost away, but doesn't have any space. Clem gets chased down. Here comes a move out there. Does move out through the center. Move out gets swatted. Clem checking for the 4th. There is none. Storm is complete. Clem backs off, takes his base, and now we're taking it to Ghost. So we're slowing things down here, getting into Ghost play, getting into the mid game. And we'll see how Clem can handle himself. We'll see if we can land those EMPs. That's what it'll come down to. Come down to the EMPs, come down to the storms. If you recall, I was mentioning how I recommend watching ByuN versus herO earlier today in the best of 5, and they had an amazing series here. And again, ByuN, he had some insane EMPs. We're looking to see the same here from Clem. Like, we're heavily reliant on those EMPs. We have 4 High Templar moving out. Ghosts are still building up for Clem. He has 3 so far, soon to be 6. We get spotted. There's the first storm. AP lands on 1. Again, Max actually pulls back to the Templar and makes sure they're safe. Just forcing out 1 EMP at a time. Another storm comes in, grazes the army. The army's getting very low. Even gets a tank. And MaxPax down to the final storm. And with that, MaxPax has to get out of here. Yeah, he has to pull away. You can see as soon as MaxPax runs out of storms, he backs off. He backs off. He wants none of that. Gets the hell out of there. And we're taking up into Colossus. So the Bay is on the way, getting ready for Colossus production. Again, with this many ghosts, it's hard to rely on purely storm, so you need those colossi. Oh, that's a ghost. Does catch one of the ghosts. The Raven's still being active across the map. Have storms for the most part grazing the army. Nothing major yet. APs do land. There's 1 storm left. Nice snipe. But at the same time was a distraction. Zells get into the mineral line. Once again, good reaction by Clem. Pulls away and losing 4 SCVs. It could have been so much worse. But does pull away in time. And we're maxing out. Clem, he's maxed. MaxPax, he's still getting there. He only has the 1 Colossus so far, so his army is looking quite vulnerable, depending on the High Templar, depending on the EPs. Speaking of, 1 storm lands. Takes down the tank. Oof. Yeah, Clem, you cannot chase through like that, as he is punished. Second starport's on the way, getting ready for Mass Viking. It's getting ready for it. Till then, Clem is stuck defending. And it's still quite tense. MaxPax still looking for a way in. He's spotted by the tower. Oof. Does rush forward. Yeah, the army's out of position. It's the bunker, but doesn't quite commit. At the same time, another Zealot run by, but the planetary does defend. Oh. Clem trying to come in from behind. He gets a Colossus. And nice spread. Baits out a couple of storms. More storms coming in. There's one Colossus remaining. It's going to be chased down by the Vikings. And now no more Colossi. But there's still a couple of storms remaining. There's one Templar. Oh. Yeah, the EMPs are brutal here. And Clem, he will take the fight. He can chase him down. There's no storm and there's no Colossus, which means there's nothing to stop the Terran. The Terran can't... Oh, never mind. Out of medevac energy. Never mind. He has the army. He should be chasing, actually. There's not much to defend. Clem, you're maxed. We keep going. Keep going, man. MaxPax, he can't stop you. MaxPax is down to... I mean, he does warp in a wave of High Templar, but you can see they have so low energy. There's not many storms here. This is Clem's moment. This would be his time. But he's playing very scared. He's giving MaxPax time to rebuild. To slowly build up the Colossus. To gather more energy for more storms. Clem playing scared. I mean, you can frame it a couple of ways. Either scared or just playing very carefully. Doesn't want to throw away his lead. Does get a Colossus. Does catch one. Gets the Templar as well. Oh, barely doesn't get the Templar. Prism gets into the main. Clem is racing all the way back into the main base. Yeah, rough run by. Same time, Clem dropping across the map. It's going to be 10 SCV kills as Elsa still going ham, going for another warp in. That Prism is brutal. Oh. Lands a couple of EMPs. There's still a lot of storms. Yeah, still a little storms left. Vikings have to pull away. A chaotic fight here for Clem. And there's still Zealots in the main, finally going down. Now, the plus side for Clem is that MaxPax doesn't have a bank. Because of these trades and because of how efficient Clem has been, MaxPax, he doesn't really have a bank to work with. So this is still okay for Clem. Even if he missed a window earlier. Still in a better position, now expanding. Vikings, they catch another Colossus. Very nice EMP. There's 6 Templar, but only 1 Storm. And this time we better keep pushing. this time we better not turn around again. Clem, we need that confidence. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. The final Storm. And with that, no Storms remaining. He can stand forward. Oh, has to respect those Zealots. Kites back. Ooh, high energy ghost goes down. Brutal loss there for Clem. And here comes another Templar. Here comes that NG overcharge. There's one more Storm. That's the final Storm. Nice snipe. And again, I feel like we can keep trading. Alas does pull away. MaxPax slowly rebuilding his Colossus. And once again, just wants to be careful. Pulls back, rotates. Clem can collapse in. Doesn't go for it. Clem doesn't set up with the surround. Going for the counterattack instead. And there are 4 Templar left. Ooh, storms are connecting. Yeah, they're just buying time. Max actually defends. Oh, but I say that he will lose the base. Nexus goes down, and Clem, he may try to pull MaxPax apart. A couple of high templates to defend. MaxPax, you can always recall. He's hunting for the Templar. Oh, nice feedback. Does feedback the Ghost. And to be fair, Clem, he doesn't see what we see. But thankfully he is dropping. Getting into the mineral line. Going for the Nexus, actually. And he will bring it down. Yeah, just barely. Snipes the base, pulls away, pushing on the right-hand side. Recall was just spent. And now I can go for another expansion. Yeah, bases, they're falling left and right. That's going to be 2 bases falling now for MaxPax. And he will lose another. Another Nexus goes down. And Clem, he has to get out of here. Ooh. We'll lose 1 Metamac. 1 Metamac goes down. Clem, he just keeps pushing. Momentum is on his side. And Liberation has arrived. Yeah, and MaxPax, he can't quite keep up here. He's got 4 High Templars, he's got Minimal Storm. Now we got the Liberators. They've arrived. Nice EMP. No Storm. Yeah, once again, no Storm. Another base goes down, and Clem, he finally has done it. He did outtrade MaxPax a couple of times already this game and did secure himself. I was concerned he was giving MaxPax too much time to recover, but nah. He kept going, he kept pushing, thankfully. And with that MaxPax, he almost has nothing left. He lost his 3rd, he lost his 4th, he lost his 5th. He's rebuilt his 6th base. This is it, this is his economy. Clem is already remaxed. And Clem just has to keep trading. Just keep pushing in, keep trading. Oh. EMP's catching out the Archons. And this is going to be the final army for MaxPax. His last stand. EMPs are brutal. Down to what, 1 Storm? Not even. Yeah, the final Storm doesn't quite connect. Drops, they keep going in. And it's all or nothing for MaxPax. Again, his final push. There's just too much freedom, Pappy. Too much freedom. Too many Liberators. He cannot move in. MaxPax, he cannot push. Not into all these freedom zones. Not into the Liberation. And he's forced back home. He's forced back home. There's nothing to really come back to. So MaxPax turns around. He recognizes he cannot push into the Liberators. So, what can he do? Now, if Clem gives him time again to get another base up and running, then maybe, but Clem, he should be more active. Uh-oh. The armies do pass by each other. MaxPax moving in. Clem a little bit out of position here. There's 3 High Templar. Down to 2. 2 Templar left. Warping in 1 more. Yeah, there's not that many Stalkers, Liberators. They can just siege on top of the army. And they will. They do just siege in. With that mass EMPs, and Clem, he will solve the army. GG gets called. Clem takes a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Clem, he had some very strong moments in this game. It was pretty impressive, but we saw that Clem, he was kind of lacking that killer instinct. There were, I want to say, like 2 or 3 big moments where Clem, he took some big fights. MaxPax, he was running out of storms time and time again, and whenever he would, Clem wouldn't press his advantage. He would back off, he'd be more tentative. It did feel like Clem was maybe a little bit scarred. Maybe he's been in that position before where he maybe overextends and throws his lead and pushes into a Protoss, and maybe he doesn't expect storms to be there and things go awry. So it did look like Clem was overly cautious against MaxPax, most likely just because of previous games they've had, which was giving MaxPax the opportunity to actually recover and keep the game going. And that did happen like 2 or 3 times. In the end though, Clem, he maintained his lead, snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. Ooh, GG. She's like, crazy how Protoss gets infinite storms this patch. If you weren't watching, and I do apologize if I didn't emphasize them enough, but there were like, again, 3, maybe even 4 big moments where MaxPax was running out of storms. Like he straight up was running out of storms, and those are these big moments for Clem to be able to just take advantage of the army and just take better trades and take better fights. We were trying to harp on those moments as well, if you weren't watching. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. I've seen Australia do it against Terran, but that was against ByuN. It can be hard to get a good position for Protoss when the Terran is really aggressive. So we casted those games. They're on YouTube if you want to tune in. It was Australia versus, he did it against Gumiho and Cure during the EWC Global Qualifiers, and he did it against, I want to say, was it ByuN? It was ByuN and Clem during Pegasus Cup. So there were 2 big tournaments where he did it on. But it's important to bear in mind that Astray, he wasn't just hyper defensive. He was gaining map control. He was taking bases. He was even taking bases away from the opposing player as well. He was playing it slow and getting into Sky Toss, but by no means was he passive in those games. Like, he was active where he needed to be. And that was also very map dependent, if you remember. It really excelled on maps like Ley Lines, that's it, Ley Lines, and Ultra Love as well. Tokamak was a little bit more dicey, just because it was more difficult for him to deny bases, but on Ultra Love and Ley Lines, he was able to. He was able to deny bases, deny expansions, and even take bases away from the opposing Terran player. So that style does feel a lot more map dependent. Yeah, we casted those games. Here we go. Here we go. As we're settling into game number 4. Also, Australia, because I'm pointing out like 2 of those tournaments he was playing that in. I want to say he did in 3 tournaments. Players did recognize what he was doing, and he got, I don't know if I want to say figured out, but his play style, it permeated throughout the scene, and everyone took notice. Everyone took notes, and it's not as effective anymore. Terran players, they did get better at breaking Australia early, and stopping him from actually like getting up to that point. That's why if you watch Australia nowadays, he doesn't play that style anymore. That was like a prevalent style for a couple of weeks leading into EWC. But that style did fall off. Did fall off. Oh. As we have our Twilight accounts open out of MaxPax. We have seen a lot of greedier builds out of MaxPax this series. It was twice now we've seen 2-gate Blink into a 3rd. We'll see if he goes for it again. So far, 2-gate Blink. Reapers get shut down. This time, he does not get 3 probe kills. So a rougher start here for Clem. MaxPax does at least get the Robo on 2 bases. At least. And Clem behind this getting to his own 1-1-1. Into Quick Banshee this time. Quick Banshee's on the horizon. Wooderman drop coming in as well. We're expecting the expansion out of MaxPax. There it is. So 3 games now in this series going to Gate Blink. And he does pull the boys, and he will barely focus on that Wittermine. Clutch moves out of MaxPax. He defends well. From here, we're settling it. We do have our eBay for +1. Here, we're kind of waiting to see if Clem gets a 3rd TC or throws down extra Vaxes, to see if he commits on 2 bases or not. Loading into Tokamak, we're expecting him to get into a 3rd base. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool. It's very defensive as well. It can be quite difficult to make 2 base all-ins really work on this map. Can be quite difficult just because of the terrain. There's a lot of ramps, a lot of points of elevation. And of course, easier to scout any kind of all-in. So MaxPax, he's waiting outside. And MaxPax building up into Storm. Clem getting into ByuN. No Mac, just the once this series. Just the once. Bearing in mind 2 Banshees, they can one-shot probes. They hit the 3rd base. Probe's going to be going down. And where is the detection? Observers across the map. Oh, force a recall. Observer does recall back home. And MaxPax call with his pants down. The Stalker's not in position. Observer's not in position. 13 probe kills. 14. Gets an entire mineral line. And the Banshees get away. Wow, not a single Banshee goes down. Insane damage here by Clem. MaxPax, he wasn't quite able to spot, wasn't quite able to confirm. And Clem takes a lead. Clem does take a lead here. Will still expand, getting a 3rd. The base is on the way. Clem building up in towards the mid game, but goes into the mid game with a lead. We speak about this all the time, but TVP is very momentum based, and getting a lead this early on is brutal. MaxPax is so difficult to recover from that to get some kind of counter damage. As Clem is pushing, Storm is not ready. Clem going for the base. As Mine shots are popping up, we're still 5 seconds away. Storm should finish up in time. It was close, but there's a first Storm. Storm lands. We have one more Storm behind this. And MaxPax does hold. Whew. Does hold on. The Banshees are not done. They're not done. And there's still only one Observer, by the way. It's just the one Observer. Banshees, they just pop off. That's going to be another 10 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. 12, 13, 14. This is game-ending damage. Game-ending damage here. The herO Banshees in total 30 probe kills. Oh, that's 2 mineral lines back. Not like this. MaxPax, he's pretty committed here. He has to do crippling damage. He's moving out. He has potential. He has storms. Ghost is still on the way. MaxPax, we gotta go. Results behind the army. Into the bases. Nicely done. Clem getting distracted. It's all or nothing here for MaxPax. He's got to send it here and now. Tempo rallies in. Very nice spread here by Clem. Does take one storm to the face. That was the final storm. Yeah, no more storms left. He's run out of storms. Had Templar going down. Zelse pop up in the main. The charge lots. 18 SCVs. Okay. 18 SCVs going down. Very nice. The main army did struggle, but workers are falling. MaxPax pulls away. Zelt's still in the bases. Yeah, shaky defense here by Clem. Again, it wasn't the main army, it was the charge lots. The Zealot run by, the Zealot drop even. 23 SCVs, the lead that Clem once had, not there anymore. We spoke about it. MaxPax had to do something drastic to recover in this game, and he pulled it off. He pulled it off, happy. Oh, Prism goes down. Nothing to keep Clem back. Now, what's important here is that, yes, that was a lot of crippling economic damage. That was 25 SCV kills. That is insane damage. But Clem still has a larger army. Despite that, storms are coming in. There's 3-Eye Templar. And Clem is across the map. He's across the map. He cannot defend back at home. He's forced to defend his natural, dropping into the main base. MaxPax, he can always recall. He's going in. He's going for the kill. We're going for the base trade. Oh, the army's heavily overstimmed. Sorry, the Storm's even. Yeah, Storm shut him down, and MaxPax, has he done it? He's still pushing into the natural. GG. Oh my god, and MaxPax, he ties things up. We're going to the ace match. GG. A no GG out of Clem, as I can sense the frustrations there. Clem, he had a massive lead, a massive advantage. The Banshees were winning him that game, but alas, the defense wasn't there. He was unable to stop the Zealot harass in the main bases, in the main base, in the natural. Those chargelets won MaxPax the game, and the attention wasn't quite there for Clem. Wasn't quite there. Wow, GG. We're going to game 5. We're going to game 5. See Miguelito in the chat. Ay, papi. Este Miguelito. Buenos días, papi. Buenos días. Here we go. Hopefully Clem is okay. I know Clem can be a very emotional player, so hopefully he's okay after that last game. Aye, aye, aye. Hopefully he can calm down as we're getting into the ace match. Here we go. Here we go, as we're getting into the final game of the series, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Magnatha, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing System Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing... Oh, wait. Oh, his mental was broken, papi. Oh, no. He's switching to Protoss, no longer Terran after that last game, and we'll see what he has to offer here. It is a Clem. There's a lot to discuss. I am concerned for... I mean, we spoke about how he can be a very emotional player. No. The mental is broken. He's gone full Protoss now. Aye, aye, aye. So, when it comes to Clem's Protoss, if you remember, infamously for a long time, Clem, he's said this before. This was, what, a year ago now? Clem, he said, or I say a year, maybe like 6 to 8 months. He said the one thing that was stopping Clem from switching to playing and competing as Protoss was PvP. Right, he was confident in his PvT, of course. That's why he was playing it. He was confident in his PvZ. He was even giving skillless builds to actually play and compete and actually take maps and take series off of big Koreans as well. When it came to sharing builds with his teammates, even helping out Mana. True. But PvP has been Clem's weakest matchup. Now, that was true for quite some time. In recent weeks, he has been focusing post-EWC. Clem has been working on his PvP. That is true. I haven't seen the fruits of his labor. I have not seen his PvP like since EWC, so I don't really know what to expect. What I can say for certainty is that MaxPax, his weakest matchup was PvP this year. This year, it was straight up his weakest matchup, but he was really struggling up until around a month ago. I think it's been around 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks where MaxPax, he has been improving quite heavily in PvP, where he's been adjusting, he's been more chaotic, more dynamic. Clem, he will hide his pylon, he goes for a fake proxy pylon. MaxPax is scouting, looking for the proxy, one that doesn't really exist. So a cheeky start at a Clem is cheeky. He won versus MaxPax last time, probably a week ago. I think you're referring to, you're saying the Summer Championship. Okay, there you go. Unfortunately, we don't cast that, so I didn't get to see those games. But okay, we're getting some more context. As MaxPax does expand, so does Clem, but building up into a longer game. MaxPax's advantage here coming into this is the Stargate, so his Oracle can get across the map, can harass. Clem poking in. Ooh. Catching out a Stalker. Stalker goes down. I mean, at least it forced the energy to be spent defensively. Clem is now aware of the Stargate, but the shield battery is now done, and MaxPax will hold. He will hold. He will defend. Clem, he actually doesn't really have a shield battery in the main or any stalks in the main base either. A little bit concerning. Clem, remember, he's aware of the Oracle. He knows. 2 Oracles are moving in, and I see nothing in the main. Okay, we have 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers, they rotate just in time. Clem is in position. He should be okay. Clem is ready. Here he does defend. Oh. Almost catching out the Oracle. And at least MaxPax does keep them alive. So from here, he can double back. I see that does threaten the mineral line, just the one. And for the most part, we're settling into a longer game. No major gateway explosion. I would appreciate for those that watch the Summer Championship to know what build he went for. Against MaxPax. Ooh, it was a little bit indecisive. We have a Dark Shrine on the way. MaxPax being cheeky. It is not uncommon for Protoss players to skip and delay their Robo. So Clem, if he takes his 3rd base before the Robo, I'm going to be concerned. Now Clem is distracted. DTs, they can just end the game. It's happened to herO, it's happened to MaxPax. If there is 0 detection for much longer... Ay. Does find the pylon at least, okay. Does deny the pylon. Expansion's on the way. Here comes that hallucination. Does Clem scout? As he spots the 3rd. MaxPax coming in for the interception. Does snipe. Does deny. Here comes the Robo, so it's a late Robo out of Clem after the 3rd base. Clem is pushing in. Dark Shrine is done. Dark Shrine is ready. MaxPax, he should be able to hold on here. But he's waiting for the pylon. Okay. So MaxPax, he's waiting for the pylon, which means an observer should pop out. Like these are precious seconds here that MaxPax is missing out on. The Robo is almost complete. And the game won't end. Otherwise, that would have been crippling damage. If the pylon was never found, I mean, that would have been brutal. That could have been game. But you can see observers on the way. Again, the warp pins have been heavily delayed. DTs are waddling in, and Clem, he should defend. Assuming he notices. Yeah, he knows. Meanwhile, we have one DT in the main, DT at the natural, main army towards the third. Clem completely out of position. He's out of position here. 5 probes going down. Catching out a Stalker. Does he bait him in? Does he bait? He does! Does bait him in. And with that, MaxPax can take a better fight. He still backs off. DTs are still wreaking havoc in the bases. Still one at the natural, still one in the main. Clemmy can still chase him down though. Still has more Stalkers. Yeah, 19 versus 11. Clemmy can just try to commit. Boom. Out with their reinforcements. We have defensive warpins. DTs are dealt with. And as the dust settles, MaxPax, he's miles ahead. Sure, MaxPax is down in Stalkers, but what about the economy? And that's what matters here. 47 probes to 64. Full 3-base saturation. MaxPax from here, he can get further and further ahead. He just needs those warpins. He just needs to build up and focus on the army. And that's what he's on next. Even getting a 4th expansion. So the longer this game goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. The soup does lie here. The soup does lie. There's a lot of pressure on Clem. We have to push soon. He's going for a split push. Stalkers towards the 4th. Distracts MaxPax. Clemmy sees an opening. Does see an opening. Does he notice the stasis? No, no, he doesn't. No, as he gets caught out. 1, 2 stasis traps catch him out. Not again, Pappy, not again. herO, is that you? It's like, oh no. As Clemmy gets baited in, and with that, he does not find any damage. He's getting caught out instead. He's forcing him into the fights, bleeding out every Stalker. And MaxPax, he's snowballing out of control. He was already ahead, now getting further ahead. Takes away the one thing that Clem had, which was the army advantage. Blinks in, he knows he can. And GG gets called. MaxPax, he will claim the series 3-2, becoming this week's LiuLi Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to MaxPax as he does claim the series, does advance on, and will be our champion. Congratulations. It was a very intense back and forth, very intense. We did have, of course, both Clem and MaxPax popping off in their own right. Was impressive to see. I'm still thinking about game 4, for example. Clem, he was in such a good position. He was ahead. He had killed 30 probes. It was insane. But alas, the defenses were lacking, the attention was lacking, and you can see the mental break there for Clem. That was when he made the decision to switch to Protoss, which apparently he's had some success with in the past. I'm curious if anyone can say what happened. This is almost exactly what the water game looked like as well. Then Clem caught half of MaxPax's army on a recall and snowballed. I see. Interesting. But GG, well played. Congratulations to MaxPax. Again, did go the distance here in Clem. I was just happy to see that he only played mech once. And I mean, he almost won that game as well. Like that was a very chaotic game on ley lines. Like I'm still thinking about ley lines. I'm still thinking about the game 4 map as well. Still thinking about Tokamak. Where there's definitely a world where Clem could have taken the series, but also shows just how close in skill MaxPax and Clem are. Like they are the 2 respective best Terran and Protoss players in Europe, so they often do trade back and forth, and great to see that is still the case here as well with the 2 of them. GG, well played. Rage quit? He lost that game fight. What do you mean? But with that, GG, well played. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. With that, we are wrapping up for tonight's broadcast. And as a reminder, this is a weekly tournament. Every single week there is a LiuLi Cup. So next week will be LiuLi Cup number 6. We often do see these respective players. We had some crazy results this week as well. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you haven't seen the bracket yet. We had a crazy performance by Geralt. He popped off out of all players in the lower bracket. I'm sure MaxPax is very happy as Geralt, he took down a herO herO and Showtime. Geralt, he popped off. Again, he may have gone down to MaxPax, but MaxPax, he's the best Protoss in all of Europe. There's no shame in falling to MaxPax. So really impressive performance here by Geralt to take down herO and Showtime. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see those games, but really impressive play nonetheless out of Geralt. For me, he was kind of one of the standout performers in this tournament. Likewise, we were able to see Shin. Shin, he had his own fun performances as well. Clem popping off against ByuN, against Shin, and even here against MaxPax went all the way to the ace match. So really solid performance. I do recommend the VODs if you missed out on them. There were some really entertaining series. And with that, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up here for the evening. We're going to be live in a couple of hours time with our next broadcast. As you can see our schedule, we are live twice a day, almost every single day. We cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there. We have all the content, all the StarCraft. We just wrapped up with our Wednesday evening broadcast, as you can see there with the LiuLi Cup logo, with the cup. Let's go. With the bowl even. Our next broadcast is going to be StarCraft Evolution League Championship. That is going to be Thursday morning. That's going to be at 9 a.m. KEST. That'll be at 10 a.m. AEST. That it will be in 9 hours. 9 hours time. We're going to be live here with StarCraft Evolution. Meanwhile, in just under 24 hours, we're going to be live with the Pondcast. That's going to be a big cast as well, because it's going to be Pondcast into Masters of the Game. Masters of the Game, that's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 4 days straight of a quote-unquote French StarCraft. For those who don't know, there's a big event happening in France, in Paris. There's a big offline event happening, but we are covering the online portion. And we have the group stage. We have the round of 16 group stage over the course of the next 4 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days of non-stop StarCraft. We also have the OSC mid-season playoffs. That's going to be Friday morning, and we have Ducklings Open Saturday evening as well. So again, a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. It's a very intense period in StarCraft at the moment, as it always is. Every single time I'm like, I would like to take things easy and have, you know, some half days off or some days off here and there. It just never happens. There's just so much happening. If you recall, RSL is also around the corner. So Revival StarCraft League is also this weekend, and we're going to be covering that next week, I believe, as well. So we have RSL, we have the Stellar, the Stellar Fest online qualifiers and online event, offline event in Canada. That's going to be around the corner. We have the SE2 Save House. We have the Platinum StarCraft League circuits wrapping up in December. We have Home Story Cup also around the corner as well. There's a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. As always, StarCraft Evolution, which is wrapping up, and potentially another circuit for Euthermal's 2v2. Potentially another 2v2 circuit on the horizon as well. I know that Euthermal was very happy with the circuit initially, with the first edition of it, and I'm sure he's planning for the next one after the TLMC. That's another thing that's happening. Remember, the Team Liquid map contest is around the corner as well. I believe we are slated to have a new map pool in November. So I believe November should be our new map pool, and this time we're going to be refreshing the team game map pool as well. So exciting stuff. When it comes to TLMC, voting will soon be open. So as a bit of a PSA, if you're out there, your vote matters. Your vote matters when it comes to what new maps to bring to the tournament circuit, to the tournament scene. It'll be up to you to decide with your votes with the TLMC. So that's also around the corner. True. Who is MaxPax? If you haven't been tuning into much StarCraft, MaxPax has had actually a lot of interviews already. Famously, it was during Masters Coliseum. He did have some interviews during WTL as well. So MaxPax is just one of those players that prefers not to play offline. In my mind, I think it's more of like an anxiety sort of thing. Just someone that doesn't necessarily want to go to an offline event and interact with people and all that stuff. Is a little bit more reserved and does keep to himself. But yeah, there's plenty of interviews and stuff out there with MaxPax, with KJ as well, with Psystorm. Is it over? Yes, we just wrapped up. We just wrapped up. Otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we are wrapping up for the time being. And we'll see you later on tonight. Either later on tonight with StarCraft Evolution or tomorrow with the podcast of Masters of the Game. It's gonna be an intense weekend. I'm gonna try to get as much sleep as I can. I go sleep as much as I can. Stick around. We're gonna be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Who's live at the moment? I think Harstem is still gonna be streaming, but we try to raid some smaller streamers whenever we can. Let's have a look. Mr. Sadsack is live. Poison is live. Gabe is still streaming. I think he was casting actually. Yo, M Canning. Let's go. We'll find someone to send our love to. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Also, if you want to tune into more of us, !socials, you can follow us over on YouTube. If you want to watch VODs, if you see something that you like here, if you can't watch it live, then YouTube is the place to be. As a reminder, Twitch, they no longer support VODs. VODs, they eventually deleted on Twitch, so YouTube is now the place to be for all that VOD content. So again, YouTube, VODs, all there. Is all there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, bye, ciao. See you next time.